Kucek started off at Iowa. He lost 5 in a row, although he only gave up 14 earned runs in his 5 starts. Then he turned around, won 5 of his next 6 to end up 5-6 before being recalled by the White Sox. His first appearance, native Ohioan, who went to Miami of Ohio, has a good fastball. Here's the windup and the pitch on the way to Bostock. Too high with a fastball. 1-2 now. Smalley on deck, Carew to follow.
He can't be all bad if he's from the Mid-American Conference. Western Michigan.
That's a plug included. Here's the pitch to Lyman. Swung on a ground ball to the right side. Orta up with it over to Spencer. 1 away. Second to first to play.
Midwest Federal and WCCO Radio have purchased the broadcast rights to the Minnesota Twins baseball games for the pleasure and convenience of the listening audience. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction is permitted without the express authority of the Minnesota Twins, WCCO Radio, or Midwest Federal.
Now Roy Smalley hitting at 229, 3 homers and 19 runs batted in. 1 out and nobody on. Essian behind the plate for the White Sox. There's the pitch on the way. Strike is called. 0-1. Same infield as last night. Soderholm at third, Bannister at short, Orta at second, Spencer at first. Garr in left field today. Lemon in center. Zisk moving over to right. There's a ball he didn't mean to hit. Fouled it to the left. 2 strikes now to Roy Smalley. The pitch broke in on him. 0-2 the count. Rod Carew on deck. That outfield shifted a little bit the opposite way on Roy Smalley, batting left-handed. They're playing him a little bit towards left field. And the pitch. Swung on and a little bouncing ball to Kucek. The pitcher flips it to Spencer, 2 away. Two up and 2 down, and here is Rod Carew. Went 2 for 5 last night, a triple and a single, batting .411. Hit in 12 ball games in a row now. And 27 out of the last 29. 2 out and nobody on. Kucek, 6'2", 200-pound right-hander. Was just 24 years old this month and takes slow for ball. I should say last month, June the 8th, 1953, his birthday. Born in Newton Falls, Ohio. There's the pitch on the way. Fastball outside to Rodney. 2 balls to no strikes. Carl Keogh coaching at third, and Tony Oliva at first. There's the windup by Kucek, and the pitch on the way. Fastball over a strike, and it's 2-1. Kucek signed with the White Sox out of Miami University of Ohio in 1974. Pitched at Appleton. Got a 5-2 record that year. There's a high fastball to Rod, 3, and 1 the count to Carew with 2 out and nobody on. High outside fastball, and Carew gets the walk. Rod Carew walks with 2 out, and here's Butch Wynegar hitting in the cleanup spot today. Butch batting .267, 4 homers and 31 runs batted in. Kucek came up to the White Sox that first year. He was 1-4. Started with the White Sox last year and 2 years ago, but after a couple of brief appearances each year, he was optioned to the American Association. Didn't have any decisions in 75 or 76. First start for the White Sox this year. A throw over to first base. Just a toss over there. Carew easily gets past. White Sox are going to play Wynegar around towards right. There's the stretch now, and the pitch on the way. Fastball through for a strike, 0-1. 85 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Breeze blowing towards right. And the pitch out, but Carew wasn't running, and it's 1-1 now to Butch Wynegar. 1 ball and 1 strike. As far as team records, the White Sox have won 41 and lost 32. The Twins have won 1 more, but they've also lost 1 more. And they're 2 percentage points behind Chicago. Go to first base, Carew gets back. 2 out here. But Carew on, no score in the first inning. Here's the stretch and the pitch. Fastball popped up. Bannister, the shortstop, shielding his eyes, back in shallow left field, makes the catch, and that's all for the Twins. No runs, no hits, no errors, one left. Half an inning, Twins nothing. Chicago coming up.
Let's check some other things in sports now. Chicago Cubs reliever Bruce Sutter missed out twice in one night. First, he missed a chance to save a Cub win in Thursday's contest with the Cardinals at St. Louis. Then he missed the birth of his second child, arriving at the Valley Community Hospital in Chicago 34 minutes after the 8-pound, 2-ounce boy was born. Jamie Sutter, 24, called her husband Friday morning to tell him the wives of two other Cub pitchers were taking her to the hospital. Sutter caught a plane back to Chicago, but arrived too late. Both Mrs. Sutter and her baby, Chad Howard, were reported in excellent condition. The Sutters, who live in suburban Mount Prospect, had one other child named Josh. Billy Butler out on the mound right now, taking his warm-up tosses for the Twins. The Twins failed to score in the top half of the first inning. The White Sox coming to bat. It'll be Bannister, Orta, and Zisk for the White Sox. And while Billy Butler continues to take his warm-up tosses, let's pause for 30 seconds. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
You're listening to the voice of information for Department of Defense personnel and their dependents in the Canal Zone.
Points. Rod Carew went 2 for 5 for the Twins, maintaining his average at .411. In the East, meanwhile, Baltimore blasted Boston 8-2, while Detroit and rookie Dave Rozema were handling the New York Yankees 5-1. And we gave you the other scores of the other ball games. Vita Blue threw a 4-hitter, by the way, for the Oakland A's. Well, here's Alan Bannister stepping into the batter's box. No score in the ball game. Twins just batting in the top half of the first. Bottom half of the first inning, Bannister, Orta, and Zisk. Hitting .302, has 1 homer, 32 RBIs. Bill Butler on the mound for the Twins delivered. Fastball strike on the outside corner. 0-1. Happy to welcome the Armed Forces, American Forces Radio Network to our broadcast today. All the guys and gals listening in around the world on American Forces Radio, glad to have you with us. Fastball strike to Bannister on the outside corner. So Butler whips over 2 quick strikes to the Chicago shortstop, Jorge Orta on deck, and then Zisk. Fastball inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bill Butler's 4th start for the Twins. This being recalled from Tacoma, where he'd won 4 and lost 4. There's a foul out of plate on the right field line by Bannister, still 1-2. Bill has pitched 14 in the 3rd innings, allowed 15 hits, walked 8 and fanned 1. 1 loss and no decisions his other 2 times. Here's the pitch on the way. Bannister, it's a fly ball in left field. Larry Hisle moving into left center a little bit and back. Makes the catch for the out. Bannister's out on a fly to Hisle. 1 away. It'll bring up Orta. And right now we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is where you hear the Minnesota Twins during the 1977 Major League season.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Orta, left-handed batting second baseman, hitting .273, 9 homers, 37 runs batted in. Number 6, Twins play him just about straight away in the outfield. Butler's fastball is high, ball 1. Bobby Knopp coaching at third base for Chicago, and Minnie Minoso at first base. Stan Williams, the pitching coach for Bob Lemon. There's a bouncing ball, a 2-hopper to Smalley, guns it over to first base to Carew for the out, short to first to play. Smalley to Carew, the Twins with Cubbage at third, Wilfong at second, Wynegar behind the plate. Hisle, Bostock, and Ford in the outfield, and here comes Zisk, the hero last night as far as hitting was concerned. Zisk with 19 homers and 54 RBIs, batting .286. Infield plays back deep for him. The outfield is deep, but not playing him to really pull the ball. There's a high fly going foul down the right field line, 1 strike. Richie Zisk, who hit 21 homers with the Pirates last year. That's been his best year as far as home runs, and he's already hit 19 with the White Sox. So high fly ball again. It's drifting foul down the right field line. No balls and 2 strikes to count. Larry Hisle leading the league in RBIs with 71. Rod Carew and Yankee Sherman Munson are tied for second with 56 RBIs. Just with 54. There's a fly ball. Again, it's going foul down the right field line. No balls and 2 strikes. Each succeeding foul has gone a little farther and then a little less foul.
You know, he's the type of guy, he just doesn't pull the ball. He knows he can hit it out of any ballpark and any part of it, and so he just tries to make good, hard contact.
There's a fastball inside, 1-2. 352 feet down each foul line. 375 in the power lane. 445 to center. There's the pitch. High, and it's ball 2, 2-2. In straightaway center field, they have to clear a 17-foot high fence out there, and the wall in front of the lower deck in left and right. Left center, right center, just 9 feet high, but it's 352 down each line. There's a clear strike 3. Just kind of got caught flat-footed with that one. Butler got him looking. 3 up and 3 down. 1 inning, Twins nothing, Chicago nothing.
Los Angeles Dodgers first baseman Steve Garvey has soared past the 2 million vote mark in balloting for the National League All-Star team. He leads Pittsburgh first baseman Willie Stargell by more than 1,200,000 votes. Garvey's teammate Ron Say widened his lead over Pete Rose at third base. Say has about 1.5 million votes to 1,300,000 for Rose. Cincinnati teammate Dave Concepcion and Joe Morgan continue to lead at shortstop and second base, respectively. Concepcion has almost 1,000. I'll make that 700,000, 1,700,000 to 1,200,000 for Philadelphia's Larry Bowa. Morgan with 1,800,000 leads Chicago's Manny Trio, who has 920,000. Philadelphia's Greg Luzinski remains the top vote getter among National League outfielders with 1,300,000 votes. Pittsburgh's Dave Parker took over second place with 1,246,000, and Cincinnati's George Foster is third with 1,090,000. Johnny Bench leads the catchers.
Well, we're going into the top of the second inning. No score in the ball game between the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox. For the Twins, it'll be Larry Hisle, Glenn Adams, and Dan Ford to face Jack Kucek, just called up from Iowa. Big right-hander. Looks like he's got a pretty good live fastball today.
Larry Hisle, who is 10th in the league in batting, .310, leads the majors in RBIs with 71. Has hit 18 home runs. Leads the Twins in stolen bases with 13. And Kucek delivers to him. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball away from him. Strike 1. Adams on deck and Ford to follow. On a tip down the third base line, he missed the ball. Strike 2 the count. Jack Kucek, he wears number 55 with the White Sox. Has Hisle in the hole right now, 2 strikes. And the right-hander's pitch. Up high, a ball. 1-2 the count.
You know, Herb, I failed to mention in talking about the improvement in the infield, but Jim Essian behind home plate has really made a marked improvement in his club.
This is high, 2-2. That it is. He's always been rated as having the tools to be a good defensive catcher, and he has been, but he's hitting over 300. Hit 6 home runs. And the pitch on the way. Swinging a foul ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. We've had kind of a couple of surprises here with both Chicago clubs in their catching. Where the Cubs' George Mitterwald beat out Steve Swisher this spring for the regular job, and here Essian won out over Brian Downing. There's the pitch by Jack Kucek to Hisle. swing and a foul down in the dirt behind the plate, and it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes. All even on the count, 2-2 to Larry. No score in the top of the second inning. Here's the windup by Jack Kucek, the pitch on the way. Half swing, he's out. Fastball in on him, and he started to try to check out, but had gone much too far. So there's the first strikeout for Kucek, and here's Glenn Adams, the DH today. Glenn hitting .355, has 2 homers and 25 runs batted in. Rechecking those RBIs, George Foster now has 71 in the National League. He and Hisle actually tied for the Major League lead in RBIs. Here's an inside fastball that almost got Glenn Adams. Just got out of the way. Ball 1. The sun in and out of the clouds here today. As Kucek into the windup. Right now that sun shining brightly, and his fastball outside, ball 2. As Danny Ford waits on deck. Foster leading the National League in RBIs. The Reds outfielder with 71, and Steve Garvey of the Dodgers has 70. Swing and a foul. Glenn had a good cut, but he fouled it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now they're playing Adams as a pull hitter. Two balls, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. No score in the top of the second inning here at Comiskey Park in Chicago. Here's the windup and the pitch. Check swing, the pitch low, and it's ruled the ball. 3-1 now. The ball and strike umpire today is Bill Deegan, Bill Kunkel at first base, Jim McKean at second, Dale Ford at third. Adams fouls the next pitch back. Full count to Glenn. Twins occupying the visiting first base dugout here at Comiskey Park. Here's the windup by Kucek in the pitch. Fastball lined in the right field, a base hit. Zisk plays it on the bounce. Solid single to right for Glenn Adams. There's the first hit of the game. And it'll bring up Danny Ford playing in right field, hitting 7th. Danny with a .234 average, 5 homers, 28 RBI. The Twins now with a runner on first base and 1 out. Jim Spencer holding with Adams at first. Glenn, no stolen bases, only tried 1. Here's the stretch by Kucek, the pitch. Inside fastball, and boy, Ford is trying to hit that one over the roof. Swung so hard he went down to 1 knee. 1 strike to Danny Ford. Most of the Twins facing Kucek for the first time. Rob Wilfong said he faced him a couple of years ago. Here's the stretch now by the right-hander as he checks Adams on first base, kicks and throws. Slider strike on the outside corner, 0-2. How do you feel about the advantage, Frank, when a batter and a pitcher facing each other for the first time?
Well, I think it goes in the pitcher's direction. He's got a lot more scouting reports on a batter, and he knows what he can do with a baseball. And, of course, the batter's up there just looking at it. Some guys, it doesn't make any difference. They never learn who the pitchers are anyway. They're just good athletes.
Fastball inside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's got pretty good velocity on that fastball.
He seems to get everything behind it, really driving off that back leg and getting the kind of push that he should. 6'2", goes about 200. Outfield straight away on Danny Ford with 1 out, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mike Cubbage is on deck. Now the set and the pitch. Hit him. Danny Ford hit by that high inside fastball, glanced off his arm, I think. Hit him around looks like the left wrist. That's where he's going to. Gene Maul coming out right now along with Dick Martin and Carl Keel. Danny does have a batting glove on that hand right there. Might have gotten a little bit of a cushion, but they're just looking at it. And he's just taking their time, make sure that there isn't anything cracked. Gene Maul right down in there with him. I'd venture to say when Gene's looking that close that he's probably whispering some instructions in there, too. He doesn't waste a minute of time when he's out on the field.
Like one of those fastballs bores in on the right-handed batter. So while they minister to Danny Ford, no score here in the top of the second. Let's pause for 30 seconds. This is the play-by-play broadcast of the Minnesota Twins.
Let's check other games. As we mentioned earlier, only 2 other games being played today besides our game from Comiskey Park, both in the American League. Texas at Toronto now. They're finished 3, and the Blue Jays scored 3 times in the home third. They lead Texas now 3-1. At Yankee Stadium, after 2, Detroit Tigers 3, the New York Yankees 1. Detroit scoring 3 times in the second. The Yankees scoring their lone run in the top of the first. As far as we can tell, nothing on the Western Union wire as far as any home runs in either of those ball games.
Danny Ford stays in the game. That's good news. And he goes to first base. Adams on second now after Ford hit by the pitch. Mike Cubbage batting .275 with 24 RBIs. He's asking the second base umpire, Jim McKean, to move over a little bit to the left. Left-handed batting Mike Cubbage, the number 8 hitter, Rob Wilfong on deck. So the Twins have 2 on, 1 out. Kucek kicks and throws. Down and in for a ball. 1-0. No score in the top of the second inning with Adams on second and Ford on first, 1 out. In the first inning, Kucek walked Carew with 2 out, but he got Wynegar to pop up. They're not playing Cubbage to pull against Kucek, playing him a little towards left field. Buck moved towards second base, but nobody was there to cover. 1 ball and no strikes to Mike Cubbage. Here's the stretch by Kucek. A look to second, and the right-hander's pitch. Off the low outside corner for ball 2, and it's 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's a drive into right center by Cubbage for a base hit. Adams is going to score. Ford goes to third, and the Twins lead 1-0. Cubbage ripped it to the right of second for a base hit, getting his 25th RBI of the year in the first run of the game as Adams comes across. Ford goes to third, and the Twins have a 1-0 lead. Runners at the corners, 1 out, and Wilfong coming up. Rob Wilfong hitting .268. Here's the stretch and the pitch on the way. Fastball off the outside corner for a ball, 1-0. Kucek, although he was 5-6 at Iowa, had an excellent ERA, 2.3. There's the pitch. Wilfong hits the ground foul just outside of first, 1 ball and 1 strike.
I was interested to see what Soderholm was going to do. It looked like he was bluffing Wilfong there for a minute. Playing him back at third base, moved back about 5 or 6 steps, and then as the pitcher was going into his stretch and hoping that Wilfong take his eye off him, Soderholm moves in on the infield grass expecting a bunt.
There's a bouncing ball hit out to Orta. He throws to Bannister out at second. The relay to first is not in time. Ford comes in with a second run, and Wilfong's speed enabled him to get down to first base. They tried for the double play. They got Cubbage, Orta, the shortstop Bannister 4-6. Wilfong reaches first, and the Twins now lead it by a score of 2-0, and the batter will be Bostock. He bounced to second his first time up. Rob Wilfong is 11th RBI of the year. So Lyman Bostock at the plate now. Spencer holding with Wilfong, who has 7 stolen bases, and the sinker low outside of ball. Bart Johnson boosting up in the Chicago bullpen, the big right-hander out there throwing for them right now. As the Twins have scored twice here in the second inning off Kucek, Bostock aboard. 2 down, here's the stretch. The look over to first, and the pitch on away. Lyman takes it down and in, a breaking ball. Ball 2 and no strikes. And the pitch. Swung on, bounce right back to Kucek, who kind of sits down as he fields the ball, gets up and puts the first for the out. Bostock out, pitch to the first. The Twins come up with 2 runs on 2 hits. No errors, leave 1. Inning and a half. The Twins 2 and Chicago nothing.
Former Detroit Tigers pitching ace Denny McClain has filed a personal bankruptcy petition listing more than $1 million in debts and only $500 in assets. McClain, a former general manager of the Memphis Blues Farm Club, has been working as an advertising account salesman since he quit the farm team, which folded last September. Bankruptcy petition filed in U.S. District Court in Memphis, Tennessee, listed a $510,000 debt to HCB Investment Company in St. Clair, Michigan, and $350,000 owed to Campbell Dickey Marketing Company of Southfield, Michigan. Other debts for $40,000 to the Internal Revenue Service, $22,000 to several Memphis banks, $22,625 to Paul Freeman, and $16,866 to Conway Brown, both of Atlanta. He also owes $22,000 to someone in Amarillo, Texas. McClain, 33, was moved as general manager of the Blues when Dr. Bernard Krause of Memphis reclaimed ownership of the club.
Twins have taken an early lead, 2-0 in the top half of the second inning, and the White Sox are coming to bat. Twins with a couple hits, the only hits in the ball game. And we've got a score in from Toronto. Texas getting beat by Toronto 3-1 at Toronto after 3 innings of play. Detroit and New York. Detroit just came back with 3 runs in the top half of the second inning to take a 3-1 lead over New York. Detroit beating New York last night. Roberts against Don Gullett. Gullett 6-3. He's behind by a couple runs now after 2 innings. Kansas City at Cleveland tonight. Baltimore at Boston tonight. Oakland at Anaheim. A night game in Milwaukee at Seattle also at night in the American League.
There's Lamar Johnson, the DH today for the White Sox. 326 average, 9 homers on the year for him, and he's knocked in 26 runs. Swings and he misses at Butler's fastball away from it. 1 strike to count. Chet Lemon and Jim Spencer to follow. Twins now leading 2-0 here in the last half of the second inning. Butler's pitch. Swung on, a fly ball hit out into right center field. Bostock moving over, taps the glove, and makes the catch for the out. Johnson flies to Bostock. 1 down. That'll bring up Chet Lemon, the center fielder. 293 average. 10 homers and 33 RBI. Nobody on. Butler takes the side. Here's the windup by Bill. The pitch swung on, a foul ball down the left field line. It'll be out of play. 1 strike to Lemon. Well, the Twins will get a couple of left-handers tomorrow. Wilbur Wood and Ken Craven from Chicago, and probably Paul Thomasgaard and Jeff Zahn for the Twins. The reminder will be on early tomorrow, 12:25 to start. For Lamar's doubleheader here at Comiskey Park. There's a foul ball off to the right out of play, and it's 2 strikes to Lemon. No balls, 2 strikes. Fastball high and inside. 1-2 now. Comiskey Park, which was 67 years old yesterday, the fastball inside, 2-2. Here's the pitch on the way. Foul ball behind the plate, and it's still 2-2. One of the writers here had a good description of Comiskey Park last night when Zisk hit those 2 homers, and then when they got the final out, he said this place was a cacophony of noise.
What?
Cacophony of noise. There's a high foul back to the right. Wynegar chasing the ball. Can't get it. Still 2-2.
That's something like loud.
We're going to have to start bringing a dictionary.
Heck, our resource book on percent batting averages isn't any good. What good would the dictionary be?
Well, you have to keep trying, you know.
Why? Let's pass that over. It was awful loud here.
I tell you, you'd have thought the White Sox won the 7th game of the World Series. Don't know how they could have been any more rabid than they were last night. Here's the pitch. Swung on and foul back. Still 2-2.
Did you take the fireworks display?
Did I?
Yes.
Yeah, I was here.
I thought I was back in the old...
That's when I get phone calls.
I thought I was back in the old neighborhood.
Fastball outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, that was a sensational fireworks display. The only time I've ever seen it get a standing ovation.
This is inside to Lemon. He walks. The first Chicago base runner. Lemon with a base on ball. Bring up the first baseman. Left-handed batting Jim Spencer. Batting .259, 9 homers, and 29 runs batted in. This has to be one of the most amazing turnarounds, though. I was trying to think of a club that had done such an about face as the White Sox, who lost 97 games last year, and here they are now, almost halfway through the season in first place. Stretched by Bill Butler, the pitch to Spencer. Strike, fastball over, and it's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike to count. Eric Soderholm on deck. The Twins leading 2-0 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Rod Carew holding with Lemon. Lemon has 5 stolen bases out of 10 attempts. Here's the stretch, and Butler steps off. Time call by plate umpire Bill Deegan. Twins have 2 games in Milwaukee. The 4th of July, Monday, a day game, night game Tuesday, and back home Wednesday evening against the California Angels. Swing and a foul by Spencer off a breaking ball, and Butler has him 2 strikes. Cubs lost to St. Louis again last night, but they still have a pretty good lead in that Eastern Division of the National League. The Cubs by 6.5 over the Phillies and the Cardinals. The Pirates are 9 out. Phillies beat them last night 7-6. Dodgers lead the Reds by 8.5 in the West. Here's the stretch by Bill Butler in the pitch. Spencer fouls it back, and it's 0-2. We know some of you like to keep track of the time of our games and the attendance, and frankly, there was no way you could hear the intercom in the press box announced it last night after the game. But if you're interested, the time of last night's game was 2 hours and 26 minutes, 2:26, and the paid attendance, 35,709. 35,709, the paid attendance, although there were quite a few more than that total in the ballpark. But that crowd put the White Sox over the 600,000 mark for the year. 2 strikes now to Jim Spencer. Breaking ball is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Spencer, number 3. Ground ball hit down to Carew, backhands it, throws to Smalley, out, relay back to first base, and it is in time for a double play. Nice grab by Carew on the relay. A 3-6-3 double play to retire the side, nothing across. 2 innings, Twins 2, Chicago nothing.
Checking AAA baseball results from Friday, first in the International League. Columbus swept Charleston in both games, 7-6 and 4-2. Same thing for Toledo. They won both ends of a doubleheader, defeating Tidewater 8-2 and 6-5. In single action, Rochester beat Richmond 7-6, and it was Pawtucket 9, Syracuse 3. Pawtucket leads the league by 2.5 over Charleston. In the American Association, Oklahoma City 2, Wichita nothing. New Orleans took 2 from Denver, 2-0 and 9-7. Omaha 10, Indianapolis 5, and Iowa nosed out Evansville 4-3. Standings in the East, Indianapolis up by 3 over Iowa. In the West, Oklahoma City leads Denver by a game and a half. AAA Pacific Coast League. Friday's results, Hawaii 10, Phoenix 7, San Jose 15, Tucson 4, Salt Lake 11, Spokane 4, and Tacoma 9, Albuquerque 3. In the East, Phoenix up on Salt Lake by 3 games. In the West, Hawaii leads that division over Spokane by 5.5.
Well, we're going in into the top of the third inning. Now the Minnesota Twins coming to bat against Jack Kucek of the Chicago White Sox. To lead it off for the Twins, it'll be Roy Smalley, Rod Carew, and then Butch Wynegar. Kucek going out behind the pitcher's mound, a la El Rabal. The St. Louis Cardinals there, it looked like, for a split second. Roy Smalley lines a foul to the right. One strike to Roy, who hit back to the pitcher in the first inning. Twins leading 2-0 here in the top of the third inning. Strike at the knees. It's 0-2 now. Rod Carew on deck. Butch Wynegar to follow. Swing and a miss. He swung at a low outside pitch, striking out. Number 2 for Kucek. Let's pause 10 seconds now for station identification.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Carew drew a base on balls in the first inning, so Rod hitting at .411. Here's the pitch. Inside a ball. 1-0. Butch Wynegar due up next. Carew broken bat, roll it to the right side, center up with it, throws it to the pitcher. Kucek covering for the out. 3-1 the play. So Rod is over 1. Now batting at .409. In that situation, if he'd gotten a hit, he'd have gone up just 1 point. If he failed to hit, he dropped 2 points.
Yeah.
You pay the price when you get up there.
Okay.
Butch Wynegar popped up the Bannister to the shortstop in the first inning. 2 out here in the top of the third as the Twins lead the White Sox 2-0. Strike at the knees, 0-1. Shading towards right. On Wynegar. Change is outside and high. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 2 out and nobody on. You're in the first half of the third inning. Sun obscured by the clouds at the moment. Pitch low and outside to Wynegar. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. Rod Carew, by the way, has been named the player of the month for the month of June in the American League. Just couldn't have been anybody else for the month of June. Rod hit almost 500. Wynegar takes the pitch low for a ball. So Kucek runs the count to 3-1 to Butch. If he gets on there, it'll bring up Larry Hisle.
That's something because Lamar Johnson of the White Sox hit about .367 in the month of June.
Pitch is high and outside. So Wynegar walks. Second walk, Kucek's given up. And it brings up Larry Hisle. Larry struck out on an inside pitch. He took kind of a half swing and not a good cut in the second inning when he struck out. How about those Tigers? They're leading the Yankees again 4-1 in the fourth inning in New York. Roberts against Gullet. There's a swing and a foul off the end of the bat down on the dirt. 1 strike to count. Detroit right now is playing about as well as anybody in the American League. They've been getting excellent pitching now. Of course, they have Fidrich back. Roberts had a good outing last time out. Rosemuth pitched well. Hisle takes an inside fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
Well, that Fidrich has kept him from any kind of a real slump in about 25 days.
There's a pitch. Larry didn't even swing. The pitch tailed in on him, hit his bat, went foul, and it's 1-2.
Figure he's going to start every 4 days, and he's won 6 straight, so you can get away from any prolonged type of slump when you got a stopper like that.
There's a bouncing ball to third. Soderholm down to Orta, and they force out Wynegar for the third out. 5-4 on the putout. No runs, no hits for the Twins, no Chicago errors. 1 left. 2.5 innings. The Twins 2 and the White Sox 0.
Updating the scoreboard again after 3, Detroit leads New York 4-1, and after 4, Toronto ahead of Texas 3-1. The Toronto Blue Jays on Friday recalled infielder Steve Staggs from Iowa of the American Association, where he had been leading the league in batting with a sizzling .377 average, replaced catcher Phil Roof, who was put on the 15-day disabled list with bursitis of the left knee. The 26-year-old infielder has never played in the major leagues, but has a string of impressive minor league credentials, including being named to last year's American Association All-Star team. The 5'9", 155-pound second baseman was having a sensational season that included a 33-game hitting streak from May 6th through June 14th. The streak just 10 games short of the American Association record of 43 set by Eddie Marshall in 1935 and tied by Howie Bedell of Louisville in 1961, almost stretched to 45. The Stags followed it with another of 11 games. So the Blue Jays called a fine AAA player named Steve Staggs from Iowa.
The Minnesota Twins 2, the White Sox nothing as the White Sox come to bat in the bottom of the third inning. It'll be the bottom third of the White Sox lineup. Eric Soderholm, Ralph Garr, and Jim Essian will face Billy Butler. Soderholm kibitzing a little bit with Craig Kucek. Craig warming up Butler. Wynegar got his equipment on. Nice crowd out here at Comiskey Park. Very enthusiastic. Big one last night. Expecting it to be a sellout tomorrow for the doubleheader. Doubleheader getting started at 12:30. We'll be on the air at 12:25 Central Standard Time. Wilbur Wood, probable, along with Ken Kravik for the White Sox. And if the Twins hold theirs in order, it'll be Paul Thurmondcars and Jeff Zahn.
Eric Soderholm hitting a 301 on the air, leading off here in the Chicago third inning as Butler winds up, delivers, and it's a high fastball. Soderholm with 7 homers, 27 RBIs. Garr on deck and Essian to follow. Sun coming through again now. 1 ball and no strikes to Eric Soderholm. The Twins with a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the third inning. Pitch is outside, corner for a strike, 1-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Good fastball that time by Butler. And the 1-1 delivery. Outside a ball, 2-1. Temperature in the mid-80s here in Chicago this afternoon. Here's the pitch on the way. Swung on, fouled away, and it's 2-2. So we have a warming trend coming into the area, so it'll be nice and warm tomorrow. In the 90s, probably. Twins have a kind of a short trip via bus ride up to Milwaukee from here.
It's actually better to do it that way than it is to go all the way out to the airport at O'Hare.
Here's the pitch. Strike on the outside corner. Eric didn't like that one particularly, but he's caught looking. That's 2 strikeouts for Butler to bring up Ralph Garr, batting .270. The Roadrunner with 4 homers, 28 RBIs. He's been bothered with a cold. Wasn't in the lineup last night. Number 48, Ralph Garr. Left-handed batter out of that pronounced closed stance. Swings and backs the foul to the left. Upstairs down the left field line, 1 strike. Twins have a day game Monday in Milwaukee, July the 4th, and then a night game Tuesday. Pitch is up high, 1-1. A lot of right center field out there for Garr with Bostock pulled over into left center, forward about straight away in right. Butler with an even count of 1-1. Nobody on, 1 out. Twins 2, Chicago nothing in the third, and the pitch. Swing, another foul ball. Third base side, it's 1-2 to Garr. Garr hitting 8th today in Bob Lemon's batting order. Essian, the catcher, hitting 9th. And the pitch. High curve. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count.
I got a kick sometime when a batter takes a real close pitch and then starts doing some gyrations around the plate.
Here's when he hits off the handle of the bat. High fly ball out into right center field. Bostock on to make the catch. That's 2 gone, and here's Essian, the catcher, batting .308. 6 homers and 31 runs batted in. Out and nobody on. White Sox have had only 1 base runner, Lemon, who walked with 1 out last inning, but he was erased on a double play. That was the Twins' 80th double play of the year. This is their 76th ball game. Pitch a strike fastball on the outside corner to Essian. 0-1. 1 time belonged to the Philadelphia Phillies. And the pitch is low for the ball. 1-1 now. There's the 1-1 delivery. Swung on, grounded to short. Smalley in front of it, up with it. Here's the peg on to first base. He's out, and that retires the side. 1-2-3. Essian retired short to first. So at the end of 3 here at Comiskey Park, the Minnesota Twins 2 and the Chicago White Sox 0.
Mario Andretti in a black and gold JPS Lotus has won the pole position for Sunday's French Grand Prix race. That's in Dijon, France. Andretti was bounced off the pole in the second qualifying session on Friday. He says he changed just about everything about the car overnight for Saturday's final 1-hour qualifying session. Alongside Andretti on the front row of the grid is world champion James Hunt of Britain. And Al Unser recorded the best time around Ontario.
Action over at Midway Stadium tonight. Eddie Feiner, king in his court. A 4-man softball team are going to be over there at Midway tonight at 8:30, playing the Roseville All-Stars. That's at 8:30. They're going to have a preliminary game at 7 o'clock. Cicero's and Batali's representing 2 of the area's top women teams. Remember women? Yeah. They're right. Remember that time they had, I forget which team it was, they put on an exhibition at Metropolitan Stadium, and some of the Twins batted against that gal pitcher and didn't hit too many line drives.
It's a whole different story with that underhand softball.
Yes, sir. The fast pitch is really something, so they'll be over at Midway Stadium tonight. Well, here we go to the 4th inning at Comiskey Park. The Twins leading the White Sox 2-0, and for more play-by-play, here's Frank.
Thank you, Herb. Glenn Adams leads it off for the Twins in the top of the 4th and takes a slider on the inside corner from Kucek for strike 1. 2-0, the Twins are leading the White Sox, top of the 4th inning. Adams swings the next pitch, bounce over the head of Kucek, out into center field, a base hit. Almost took his hat off. As Kucek was going back, he got the glove up, but the ball was just over the top of it. Adams now is 2 for 2. Singled to right field in his first at bat in the second and scored the Twins' first run. At 2 for 2, he's up to 355 batting average. Here's Danny Ford, got hit on the left wrist in the second inning. Took some time out. Started on down to first and scored eventually on a force out. Wilfong hit into. Ford batting .234, 5 home runs and 28 RBIs. Throw over to first base, just a little off toss. Adams wasn't that far off and gets back safely. There's a stretch. The pitch swung on, ground foul over towards the White Sox dugout. 0-1 to Danny Ford. Carl Keel, third base coach for the Twins, and Tony Oliva over in the first base coaching box. Kucek's only allowed a couple hits, but he walked a couple batters and has hit a batter. So over to first, and Adams is safe. Couple hits, I should say, in the second, and 1 here so far in the 4th. There's a check swing. The ball accidentally hits Danny Ford's bat and goes foul down the first base side, fielded by Jimmy Spencer. 2 strikes on Danny Ford. The White Sox play forward straight away, deep in the outfield. Of course, Orta and Bannister double play depth with nobody out and Glenn Adams on at first. Kucek leaning over, hitting his side from Essian. The pitch is in there for call, third strike. A slider that slipped in on the inside corner. Danny Ford was caught looking as he looks back at home plate umpire Bill Deegan. Amazement, but He takes his long walk back to the dugout. 1 out. Mike Cubbage, the batter. He singled to center field and drove in a run in the second inning. For Mike, that was his 25th RBI of the season. He's batting .275. Left-handed batter, Mike Cubbage, looking for that inside pitch to pull in the hole with Glenn Adams on at first. Fastball caught the outside corner, strike one. Kucek leans over, getting his sign, has his glove on his left knee, goes into his stretch. And the throw, but Adams gets back all right. No balls and a strike on Mike Cubbage with 1 out. There's another throw over, and this time Adams dives back in safe. Billy Kunkel right on the play over at first. Spencer, one of the quicker first basemen, putting the tag on you. Another throw, and Adams is okay. And, of course, being a left-handed fielding first baseman, he's got the advantage of just sweeping with that glove on the throw over to first base. Here's the stretch. The pitch outside and low. It's 1-1. Cubby bats out of a slightly closed stance, holds the bat right down on the end. Rob Wilfong in the on-deck circle. Throw over, and Adams is okay. Here's the pitch, a swing and a foul in and out of the glove of Essian. It's 1-2 now to Mike Cubbage. Big doubleheader here tomorrow. 12:30 start, the 4th of July weekend. Twins will go into Milwaukee. Day game on Monday and the night game on Tuesday before returning home. Ball 1, strike 2 on Mike Cubbage with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Glenn Adams on at first base. A lob toss over there. Spence didn't even bother to put the tag on. Glenn Adams. Here's the pitch outside. It's 2-2. Twins would like to extend their lead of 2 runs. Picked up 2 in the second inning. That's all the scoring in the ball game so far. The pitch to Cubbage, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. 2 straight strikeouts. Now for Jack Kucek, and that's his 4th of the ball game. Rob Wilfong, the batter. Pesky little hitter. He makes contact. Go up there and sting it. He gets his first rip, which is though he's trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but after that he starts pecking away at you. Soderholm in on the grass at third base, and Kucek steps off with the pitching rubber. Wilfong has struck out 17 times in 137 at bats. 2 men out here in the top of the 4th. Twins trying to go ahead by more than 2. There's a swing and a ground ball. 2 hopper to Spencer. He catches it up in his breadbasket, goes over with 2 steps and steps on first base for the 3rd out. So the Twins have no runs or 1 hit. They let the man on. No errors by the White Sox. After 3.5 innings of play, it's the Twins 2 and the White Sox nothing.
The Soviet Union has defeated a game but inexperienced U.S. team Saturday in the 15th edition of the Soviet-U.S. track and field meet. That's in the Soviet Union. The combined standings were 207 to 171, with the Soviet men defeating the Americans 118 to 105, and the Soviet women winning 89 to 66. It was the 5th straight win for the Soviet team in the annual event, in which they now hold an 11-3-1 record. The Americans went into the last day of the 2-day meet with a fighting chance, trailing the Soviets by only 5 points, but the Soviets showed their strength in distance and field competition. And from England, the University of Washington has advanced to the finals of the Grand Challenge Cup by beating a crew of Dublin policemen by half length in the Royal Henley Regatta. The Huskies will now take on Britain's National 8 in Sunday's final at Henley on Thames, England. Earlier in the semifinal of the Grand Challenge, Cornell University was beaten by the British team. Let's pause now for station identification. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service. Let's check the scoreboard now. Minnesota, Chicago, our game, of course, 2-1 or 2-0 Minnesota. Detroit of New York after 4. It's still 4-1 Tigers.
Alan Bannister misses inside, ball one. Bannister, Orta, and Zisk in the bottom of the fourth inning for the White Sox. There's a swing and a chopper that's going to go foul down the third base side. A ball one, strike one count on Alan Bannister, the White Sox shortstop. A fine young kid. 26 years old, Buena Park, California. Only been in pro ball 4 years. Started at Eugene, Oregon. Fastball caught the inside corner that time. It's a ball and 2 strikes. And Bannister didn't like the call. He stopped at Toledo. Philadelphia in 74 was up for a few games, and also in 75. For the Iowa Oaks in 76 was called up later by the White Sox a little later on in the year. Fastball missed outside. It's 2-2 now. Butler ready. Here's the pitch. Let up pitch missed inside. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Really has rocked the batter in the ball game so far. 3 innings. Larry Hisle kind of punching the middle on Bannister, and Danny Ford playing it pretty much straight away and right. Fastball missed up high, walk. Second walk coming up by Billy Butler. That'll bring up Jorge Orta. Orta ground out to short in his first at bat in the first inning. Twins pulled off a double play earlier in the ball game in the second. A neat job. Carew to Smalley to Carew. That was their 80th double play of the year. We could use one here. They lead the White Sox 2-0. The bottom of the fourth inning, nobody out, no runner at first base. Bannister 4 stolen bases and 6 attempts. Mike Cubbage in on the grass at third. Here's the pitch to Orta, up high, a ball. The Twins 2 runs on 3 hits, and that's enough to bring Don McMahon out of the Twins dugout. Well, that's rough because Bill had Bannister in the hole. He walked him, and now it's 1 ball to Orta. Gene Mark talking about last night's game. Frank, you know about these things. Have that front of Bannister in the first inning play such a big part. Pointed the ball out in front of the plate and beat it out. So Carew had to hold with him, and then Orta got a double pass Carew, and then Zisk homer. Sure is a game of inches. There's a fastball up high, and it's ball 2 now to Jorge Orta. On deck, the ever-dangerous Richie Zisk. 2 balls and no strikes on Jorge Orta. Alan Bannister on at first with a walk. Here's a stretch by Billy Butler. The pitch, that's in there for a strike. He poured on and fired that baby in there. 2 balls and a strike. Bobby Connaught, the third base coach for the Chicago White Sox. Orestes Minimoso, the first base coach. Butler goes into his stretch. A swing and a foul tip in and out of the glove of Butch Wynegar. 2 balls and 2 strikes now on Jorge Orta. Larry Doby and Stan Williams fill out the White Sox coaching staff. Fans starting to whoop it up here at Sox Park. There's Butler's 2-2 pitch. That's up high, ball 3, strike 2 now. Well, the Twins have the Take Me Out to the Ball Game kit. A package with a couple of Twins gift certificates, good for any Twins home game. A free parking certificate, admission to Ford to the Stadium Club, and a package of peanuts and a box of Chicken Jack. George Orta, and he walked it. 3 walks given up by Billy Butler, 2 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And boy, I'll tell you what, you don't want to put any more guys on base the way Richie Zisk has been going, batting .286. 19 home runs and 54 RBIs on the season. 2 mammoth shots last night. 1 to left center off the facade. 1 over the right center field wall. Twins are getting the bullpen up. Rod Schuler and Tommy Bergmeyer loosening up. Runners at first and second. The breaking pitch is down low for Billy Butler. Timeout being called by Butch Wynegar. Billy wants a new baseball. On deck is Lamar Johnson. I'll tell you what, Herb was talking earlier about the ball, this ball club. Here's a guy that's made some kind of difference offensively for him.
He's giving him that big RBI pattern there.
Richie Zisk. Pitch swung on, fly ball into shallow right field. Ford's under it. Bannister's tagging up at second, but he's not going to go anywhere as Ford hustles the ball into Smalley. Oh, they're 1 out as Zisk got jammed a little bit on that pitch and flied out to shallow right field. To Danny Ford covering. 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. The batter, Lamar Johnson, he flied out to center field in the 2nd inning. Johnson's been hot of late. He's batting .326 with 9 home runs and 26 RBIs. Butler's got the good fastball. And sometimes you can get away with it if it's moving all day long, but if it straightens out on you, look out. Runners at first and second. The pitch swung on, fly ball to center field. Not too deep. Lyman Bostock going to make the catch. Bannister digging for third. Here's the throw from Bostock. Cut off by Smalley. Bannister tags up and goes to third. George Orta held up at first base. 2 outs now, and runners at first and third. The batter, Chet Lemon, he walked in the 2nd inning. Lemon batting .293 with 10 home runs and 33 RBI. Butler out of the stretch. Fires a fastball up high. A ball. Detroit 4, New York 1. New York batting in the bottom of the 4th inning. Texas is getting beat by Toronto 3-1 after 4. Here's the pitch. Good breaking pitch for a strike. It's 1-1. They pulled the string on that curveball. Dropped it in on Chet Lemon for a strike. It's 1-1. The Twins 2, the White Sox nothing. The White Sox threatening with 2 outs. Runners at first and third. Headlet up pitch is up high. It's 2-1. The sun's behind a cloud right now at Comiskey Park. In and out. We keep getting cloud coverage coming into the area. A beautiful day for baseball. Big enthusiastic crowd at Comiskey Park. Here's the 2-1 pitch, fouled out of play behind home plate. It's 2-2. They get fired up for their White Sox. And of course, all of Chicago buzzing with the Cubbies doing so well and in first place in their division. Jorge Orta on at first base. Al Bannister on at third. A 2-2 count now on Chet Lemon. Here's the pitch. Up high, a ball. It's 3-2. Well, the third batter this inning. Billy Butler has gone to 3-2 on.
First 3 innings, he walked Lemon. That was in the second. That's the only man he had a 3-ball count on in the first 3 innings of the game.
Let's hope he gets him out and we call it a bad inning. There's a fastball up high. He walked it. Chet Lemon walks, and that'll bring up Jim Spencer, who ground out into a 3-6-3 double play. The bases are loaded with 2 outs for the White Sox. 4 walks given up by Billy Butler, 3 of them in this inning, and there's a conference at the mound. While they do that, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Billy Butler going to pitch to Jim Spencer now with the bases loaded. Twins going to play the infield back. They have 2 outs. The outfield straight away. Spence can spray the ball all over the ballpark and hit with a little power. He has 9 home runs and 29 RBIs on the season. The Twins lead the White Sox 2-0. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Butler out of a stretch. Fires into Spencer. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. He's always had a good fastball instead of mixing that breaking pitch, and there it is. It's up high, a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jim Spencer with the bases loaded. Chet Lemon on at first, Jorge Orta on at second, and Al Bannister on at third base. Butler has his sign. Goes into his stretch. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Missed up high and outside. It's 2-1. The White Sox have Eric Soderholm on deck. In this situation with a couple outs, all Jim Spencer's trying to do is spray the ball around a little bit. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Top foul behind home plate. Wynegar comes for it, but can't pick it up. It's on the net. And it's a ball 2, strike 2 count on Jim Spencer. Well, Butler started the inning by walking Bannister and Orta. Got Zisk to fly out on a fly ball to right. Lamar Johnson on a fly ball to center. But Orta holding at first. Bannister in the third. Here's the pitch, a swing and a foul again. That's going to go out of play. It's still 2-2. Billy Butler wants a new baseball. The White Sox 2 percentage points in front of the Twins in the Western Division. Kansas City now just 2.5 games back. They're playing tonight. They've got the bases loaded here with 2 outs and a 2-2 count on Spencer. There's a swing and a fly ball to deep right field. The ball's going back. That's a home run. White Sox lead 4-2. Fans, it's just as though it was at the Met last Sunday in that 19-12 ball game between the Twins and the White Sox. You want to talk about some fired up fans? Everybody on their feet. Jim Spencer's grand slam home run, putting the White Sox ahead. 4-2 in this ball game in the bottom of the 4th. First hit of the ball game for the White Sox looked like a slider that got out over the plate. Butler's pitch to Soderholm up high, a ball. He got Soderholm looking in the 3rd inning. That's Spencer's 10th home run of the year, his 30th, 31st, 32nd, and 3rd RBI. Breaking pitch inside to Soderholm at 2-0. Berkmeyer and Schuler continue to heat up in the bullpen. Butler out of a windup, a swing and a foul ball. It's going to go out of play off to the right. Spencer's second grand slam of the year. The other coming against Cleveland on May 14th here in Comiskey Park. A swing and a foul back to home plate. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Eric Soderholm. Eric batting .301 with 7 home runs and 27 RBI. There's a swing and a pop-up on the left side. Cubbage in the foul territory towards the coaching box. Now backpedals a few steps and makes the catch for the 3rd out. That's it. For the White Sox in their half of the inning. 4 runs on 1 hit. A grand slam home run by Jim Spencer, his second of the year after 3 walks by the White Sox. No errors and nobody left on, and after 4 complete innings of play, it's the White Sox 4, the Twins 2.
That was the old Fordham Flash, Frankie Strish used to say, the late Fordham Flash. Those walks will kill you. And it really killed the Twins there with 1 hit. That was a home run with the bases loaded. Only 1 hit, 4 runs. And now the Twins find themselves behind 4-2 because of wildness. California Angels say infielder Bobby Grich will undergo back surgery next week. Grich, one of the free agents signed in the offseason by the Angels, probably will miss the rest of the season. Grich is suffering from a herniated lumbar disc, an injury he originally sustained in spring training. The former Baltimore second baseman played out his option last season with the Orioles and signed a 5-year contract with California, estimated at $1.5 million. He's batting .243 currently for the Angels with 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. St. Louis Cardinals President Augie Busch says he'll meet soon with unsigned star reliever Raleigh Eastwick, whom the Cardinals acquired from the Cincinnati Reds 2 weeks ago. Busch says the meeting is to get together on a friendly basis. Eastwick wants more than $50,000 he's been offered.
Well, what a series this has been so far. The White Sox, who had only 6 hits last night, now have a total of 7 hits in the 2 games. They've scored 9 runs, all knocked in by homers. A bunch of opportunists in Chicago White Sox.
They sure are. And they're getting that big hit when they need it so far this year. Here's Lyman Bostock. What's the bunt? Pops the test. The pitch to Kucek on the second base. No play on him at first. Bostock down with a base hit. Lyman got up there quickly, looked as though he were going to bluff the bunt, walked up in the batter's box, and then decided to lay it down, and he laid down a perfect bunt past Jack Kucek to start off the 5th inning for the Twins. And here's Roy Smalley. Throw over to first, and Bostock safe. Lyman batting .328. He's 1 for 3 now on the day. Here's the stretch by Kucek. The pitch to Smalley, a swing and a miss. No balls and a strike on Roy Smalley. Rod Carew in the on-deck circle. Kucek fires over to first. Bostock dives back. Spencer doesn't even bother to tag him. The White Sox 4, the Twins 2. We're in the top of the 5th. Another throw over. Kid likes to keep them close. Smalley steps out of the batter's box right now, batting left-handed against the right-hander Jack Kucek. Here's the stretch. Pitch outside. It's 1-1. Now the White Sox, a couple percentage points in first place over the Twins. It's only the second time the Twins have relinquished first place since April 30th. Toss over to first. Bostock dives back in. There's a fastball. Caught the outside corner. Smalley thought the pitch was outside. He steps away from home plate. Disgust and walks down about 5 or 6 steps. Bill Deegan, home plate umpire. Ball 1, strike 2 count on Roy. Here's Kucek's pitch. Swing and a foul tip in and out of the glove of Jim Essian. So Smalley has new life. by pulling that head a little bit as he swings, leaving that back foot. Chokes up on the bat about 2-3 inches. There's the pitch from Kucek. Swinging a line drive single into center field. Bostock hits second, makes the turn, flips and falls, hustles back to second base as Chet Lemon fired the ball into Orta. Bostock safe at second. He had a notion to go to third on the base hit because it wasn't hit that hard, a little bit down towards the trademark, but perfectly placed out in the center field. The Twins have runners at first and second, nobody out. And up comes Rod Carew. And the White Sox are going to get the bullpen going. Lamar Johnson, who was up earlier, going again. They just announced Jim Spencer, his 10th home run. 5 of his home runs have been against left-handers. Twins trail by 2 on Spencer's grand slam at the bottom of the 4th. 1 hit for the White Sox. Billy Butler has walked 4 men, 3 of those in the 4th. Fastball caught the outside corner to Carew and strike 1. Eric Soderholm pulled in at third base, just about on the infield grass at the crease. Bostock on second, Smalley on first. The pitch to Carew down low and inside. It's 1-1. Toronto now leads Texas 6-3 with Texas batting in the 7th. Here's the stretch by Kucek. Checks Bostock at second base. There's a swing and a pop-up on the left side. Alan Bannister under it. The infield fly rule being called, and Bannister hauls it in. Carew pops the Bannister at short. Rodney now 0 for 2. And according to our stats, he's dropped from 411 to 408. 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning. That'll bring up Butch Wynegar. Butch popped to short and walked in his 2 at bat, so he's 0 for 1. His bat starting to come alive a little bit, making some pretty good contact. Chokes up about an inch on it, straightaway stance. Here's the pitch from Kucek, up high and inside, ball 1. Twins will lead from Milwaukee right after the doubleheader tomorrow. They'll take a Greyhound bus. A sinker down low. It's 2-0 to Wynegar. On deck is Larry Hisle. Big right-hander has his sign from Jim Essian. The pitch is inside. It's 3 balls and no strikes. Kucek has walked 2 batters. He struck out 4. Seems to be a pretty good rivalry between the White Sox and the Twins. Fastball caught the outside corner. That time it's a 3-1 count now, Butch. Oh, he's been some wild scoring games, too, in the last 2 years. There's a sinker miss down low. He walked if the bases are loaded. Second walk for Butch Wynegar and 3rd of the ball game for Kucek. We'll bring up Larry Hisle, the co-leader in the American Major Leagues in RBIs, with George Foster of the Cincinnati Reds. Bostock on at 3rd, Roy Smalley on at 2nd. Butch Wynegar at 1st. Hisle has struck out, hit into a force. He's 0 for 2. 18 home runs to go with the 71 RBI. 1 man out. Fastball missed outside. Kucek trying to reach back and get a little extra, overthrowing the ball. This is a situation for a pitcher where he's really got to get his composure and get his stuff together. He's working out of a stretch. The fastball swung out. 1 hopper right over the head of Soderholm into left. In comes Bostock with the 3rd run. Smalley around 3rd to score. Slide into 3rd base by Wynegar. Knocks the ball out of Soderholm's glove. He's safe at 3rd. Hisle goes on to 2nd base. They're going to give Hisle a 2-base hit. 2 RBIs, raising his RBI total to 73 on the season to take over the lead. And this ball game's all tied up 4-4. We're in the top of the 5th. 1 man out. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. taking any more chances in this ball game. He's out to the pitching mound. He's got the baseball from Jack Kucek. Bart Johnson has been loosening up on the side. So with the ball game all tied up 4-4 in the top of the fifth inning and 1 out between the Twins and the White Sox, the pitching change, there'll be a break in the action. So let's listen to this.
Let's look at some attendance figures right now. First, in the National League, the Cincinnati Reds have attracted 630,722 fans to Riverfront Stadium in June to boost the season total of 1,260,886, and the Reds' 7-year record since moving to the stadium from Crosley Field over the 16 million mark. The attendance totals represent the club's biggest June in history and best season to date in history. Meanwhile, in the American League, it took the Seattle Mariners less than half a season to draw more home fans than the total which watched the old Seattle Pilots of the American League in 1969. A crowd of 16,119 saw Seattle lose to Milwaukee Brewers 2-1 Saturday evening, swelling the home attendance to 678,886. With 37 home appearances, including 1 doubleheader, gives the Mariners an average of 17,865 fans a game, with 43 more home contests left to go.
Kucek gave up 6 hits while he was in there. 4 in the third innings. Walked 3, hit a batter, struck out 4. Now the big, tall right-hander, 6'5" Bart Johnson coming on. He's overcome a lot of physical problems during his career. This is his 19th appearance this year for the White Sox. He's won 4, had 1 save, last 3. His ERA is 3.9.
He's going to face Glenn Adams, and they're going to issue an intentional walk to Glenn Adams. On deck, Danny Ford. Ford has had good success against the White Sox. That's why he's in there. Ball 3. So White Sox pitching has issued 4 walks through the first 4 and a third innings. One of those intentional here by Bart Johnson to Glenn Adams. Adams 2 for 2. Officially, he's been on base all 3 times and scored a run. Danny Ford, the batter, he's been hit by a pitch and scored in the second inning. Struck out in the fourth looking at it. 5 home runs. 28 RBIs on the season. Twins bullpen is active. Tommy Johnson and Tommy Bergmeyer both loosening up. Top of the fifth inning with 1 man out. We've got the bases loaded again. And a tie ball game. 4-4 on Larry Hisel's double over the glove of Eric Soderholm into left field. As the pitch almost hit him inside. It's ball 1. Kirkwood loosening up in the bullpen. He's a big right-hander. There's a swing and a fly ball to deep right center field. Lemon going back, puts the glasses down way out there, catches the ball. Everybody's tagging up. Wynegar coming on to home, and the Twins take the lead 5-4 as Hisle advances to third base, and Adams goes on to second. Danny Ford, 29th RBI of the season, puts the Twins ahead. At this point in the ball game, 5-4, and that'll bring up Mike Cubbage, who's 1 for 2. 2 men are out. Twins have a chance to add a couple more here with a base hit. Cubby singled to center in the second inning, struck out in the fourth, batting .275. Breaking pitch down low for Bart Johnson, ball 1. On deck is Rob Wilfong. Bart Johnson working out of a stretch. Here's the pitch. That's in there for a strike. Strike 1. Bart lives in Torrance, California. 27 years old this January. Big fella, 6'5". There's a swing and a ground ball over towards first base, but it goes foul. Spencer fields it a couple steps in foul territory. Ball 1, strike 2 to Mike Cubbage. New York's been batting in the 6th inning for a while. They trailed Detroit 4-1. Texas batting in the 8th. They're trailing Toronto 6-3. All night games in the National League today. There's a fastball over the plate. Cubbage looked at it, threw his bat in disgust, strike 3, and that's it for the Twins. But the Twins came up with 3 runs on 3 hits, 3 men left. That's right, 2 men left, and no errors by the White Sox. After 4.5 innings of play, it's the Twins 5 and the White Sox 4.
Rick Peters, an outfielder from Arizona State, could be the spark that ignites the U.S. to its 5th victory in the annual baseball series with Japan. Team meets Saturday and Sunday at Southern California. Head coach Ron Stillwell of California Lutheran says that he's the key to our attack. If he can get on base, it will determine what we'll do. Peters batted .384, stole 49 bases, and scored 78 runs to help Arizona State win the NCAA title. Japan has not won a game since its triumph in the first series back in 1972. 4 golfers share the lead in the Greater Milwaukee Open Tournament. Gary McCord, Fuzzy Zoller, Mike Morley, and Keith Fergus all shot 3 under par 69s in Friday's opening round. 1 shot behind them are Mac McClendon, Ed Sabo, and Barney Thompson. The leaders made it to the top despite high winds, with gusts up to 37 miles an hour in the early part of the day. Meanwhile, Japan's Shaka Higuchi holds a 2-stroke edge after the first round of the Peter Jackson Women's Golf Classic in Canada.
Twins leading 5-4, and Tommy Bergmeyer now is going to come into pitcher in the last of the 5th inning to relieve Bill Butler, who cannot be the winner. So we have another pitching change, and while there is a break in the action, let's listen to this.
Other items in sports, so we have a break again. UCLA Athletic Director J.D. Morgan says he has talked to University of Louisville coach Denny Crum about coaching the basketball Bruins. But Morgan told the Associated Press that Crum is not the only one he's talked to as a possible successor to Gene Bartow. Morgan says he will not comment on statements attributed to Crum that he's been offered the position. A Louisville sportscaster reports that Crum said in an interview he's considering whether to take the job. Checking our scoreboard again, Detroit at New York. Let's see, we have 6.5 innings now, and the Tigers still lead the Yankees 4-2. Texas at Toronto after 7. Blue Jays continue to lead. The Rangers score now is 6-3. Hiller is now pitching for the Tigers in that game at Yankee Stadium in the 7th.
First pitch to Garr outside, and he checks the swing, but the second pitch is over. It's a 1-1 count to Ralph Garr getting started here in the bottom of the 5th. There's a swing and a ground ball foul down the third baseline, and Garr broke his bat. Ball 1, strike 2 to Ralph Garr. He flied out to center field in the 3rd inning. He'll be followed by Jim Essian and then Alan Bannister. The Twins have taken a 5-4 lead. They scored 2 in the top of the 2nd, but the White Sox came back with a grand slam home run, the first hit for them in the ball game by Jim Spencer. After Bill Butler had walked 3 batters in the inning to take the lead 4-2. Twins come right back with 3 in the top of the 5th. They lead it 5-4 on 6 hits. A wind-up by Bergmeyer. The pitch to Garr swung on. One hopper into right field for a base hit. Boy, he hung it in there. Garr falling away from home plate. And that's one that the left-handers really eat up. Get that ball in their eyes, and Garr falls off the plate more than most left-handed batters, but that one just stayed right there for him to poke into right field. Here's Jim Essian taking the sign from Bobby Knopf. He's on out the shortstop in the 3rd inning. Essian off to a great start, been playing well, batting .308 with 6 home runs and 31 RBIs. Bergmeyer out of a stretch. Here's the pitch, caught the inside corner, strike 1. Now, the Yankees did come up with a run in the bottom of the 6th, but they trailed Detroit 4-2 now. Wilfong and Smalley at double play deck. Smalley playing Essian a little bit to pull. There goes the runner. Garr. Wynegar's throw to Wilfong is in time. They got him. Garr throwing out for only the 4th time in 13 attempts. Perfect throw from Wynegar on the pitch out, 2-4. There's one out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Essian With a ball, 1 strike, 1 count on him. Infield will move back. Garr with great speed. Big gap in right center field. Here's the pitch. Swung on. Little looper out towards second. Wilfong on the grass. Takes it for the second out. Kind of a semi-line drive. He caught him on a fist, and he looped her out to Rob Wilfong, who was playing deep on the outfield grass anyway, and there's 2 out. Alan Bannister, the batter. He flied to left, walked, and scored in the 4th inning. Bannister batting 300. 4 300 hitters in the White Sox lineup this afternoon. There's a strike on the inside corner. Chet Lemon not far behind with a 293 average. Fastball tails off the plate. It's 1-1. At game time, the White Sox batting 283 as a team. The Twins 284. Breaking pitch caught the outside corner for a strike. It's 1-2. 2 men are out. The Twins leading 5-4 in the bottom of the 5th. Bob Johnson's been throwing out in the Twins bullpen. There's a swing at a fastball, and he fouls it up on the roof. Well, the count remains a ball and 2 strikes. American Forces Radio with us today. Over 300 stations. There's a swing and a line drive into right field. That's going to be a fair ball. Ford coming over on the track. Makes the turn. Bannister makes the turn, going on to second base with a double. Bannister's 14th double of the year. With 2 outs here, it'll bring up Jorge Orta, who's 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the 4th inning. Before Orta does come up to bat, though, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Well, he didn't hit the ball very well, Bannister, out on the end of the bat, but it was put in there perfectly, about 3 feet fair on the right field line. Over on the track, Ford hustled it in. There's the first pitch to Orta, down low, a ball. On deck is Richie Zisk. Boy, he concentrates on those pitches. Tommy Bergmeyer into his stretch. There's the pitch. Swung on, fly ball, shallow center field. That's going to drop in there. Makes it. Here comes Bannister around the score. It's all tied up 5-5. First RBI of the day is 38 now on the season with a little looper in the center field. Didn't hit it good on the end of the bat. Bergmeyer, a victim of 2 little fluke hits. One down the right field line for a double to Alan Bannister, and that one a single to center field by Jorge Orta. Orta, 3 stolen bases on the year, has been caught 4 times. Here's Richie Zisk. He's 0 for 2. Struck out, and he flied out to right. The stretch by Bergmeyer. Pitch in the dirt, blocked by Wynegar, ball 1. Rod Carew holding with Orta on at first base. George, pretty good speed. There's a swing and a foul out of play off to the right. George with 24 stolen bases last year. That was his major league high. At 16 the year before, 1975. Here's the 1-1 pitch for Bergmeyer. Swung out by Zisk. Lined in the left field, a base hit. Orta makes the turn at second. He's on his way to third. Heisler's throw is going to go to second. The White Sox have runners at first to third. 2 men are out. And the batter is Lamar Johnson. And here comes Gene Moss. Well, Garr was thrown out on that attempt. The White Sox might have done a little bit more damage at this point in the ball game. After that, Essian lined out to Wilfong at second base, but then Bannister a bloop double into right, about 3 feet fair. Jorge Orta with a single to center field off the end of the bat, and then Richie Zisk driving a shot into left field. Hisle hustled into second to put runners at first and third. Well, Tommy Johnson coming in to replace Berge. Berge leaves the game. He gave up a run on 4 hits. There's one man out. The game is tied 5-5, and Tommy Johnson coming in.
Tommy was the best percentage of any pitcher in the American League. He's won 9, lost only 2, and had 7 saves. Tommy Johnson has the Twins 3 wins over the White Sox this year. Johnson has been credited with every win in relief. So Tommy comes on to relief Bergmeyer. Bergmeyer gave up a couple of cheap hits there while he was in the game and 2 others. 4 hits in 2/3 of an inning, no walks or strikeouts. For Tommy Johnson, his 33rd appearance, 62 hits in 67 innings, 19 walks, 45 strikeouts. His ERA is 2.5. Well, right now, let's pause for 30 seconds. This is the play-by-play broadcast of the Minnesota Twins.
Here comes Lamar Johnson up the bat with runners at first and third and 2 out there in the bottom of the 5th. The game all tied up 5-5. White Sox now with 5 base hits. Got 4 of those this inning off Tommy Bergmeyer in relief for Phil Butler. Phil Butler leaving the ball game, giving up 4 runs on just 1 hit, but he walked 3 batters, and that hit a grand slam by Jim Spencer. That was a slider that caught the outside corner for strike 1. The grandstand managers didn't like that one. On deck is Chet Lemon. There's a swing and a miss to the fastball. It's strike 2. In this ball game. A lot of enthusiasm on the fans' part. They whoop it up and react to every play. Runners at first and third. The pitch swung on and cut a half a swing, and he fouled it off to the right. That went upstairs. No balls and 2 strikes on Lamar Johnson. Orta on at third base. Zisk on at first. Stretched by Tommy. There's the pitch, checked the swing, went too far, and looked like he foul-tipped it, and that's it for Lamar Johnson as he strikes out. So Tommy Johnson strikes out the only man that he faces in the bottom of the inning, and after 5 complete innings of play, let's see, in the inning, a run on 4 hits, 2 men left on, no errors by the Twins. After 5 innings of play, it's the Twins 5 and the White Sox 5.
Midwest Federal Twins Clinic coming up next week. Wednesday, July 6th, at Hopkins Tonka at 6:30. Then on Friday at Hastings, Minnesota at 5 in the afternoon. And a week from today, the clinic will be in Austin, Minnesota at 9 in the morning. Midwest Federal Minnesota Twins Clinic next Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Here's Rob Wilfong. Lays a bunt down the third baseline, but it's going to go foul to lead off the 6th inning for the Twins. He's the only man that didn't bat in the top of the 5th inning.
Getting a lot of mileage out of his bunt hits. Just looking here, Frankie.
36 hits on the year.
12 of those have been bunt singles.
Yeah, get on any way you can. That's what the Twins want him to do if there isn't anybody on there. He's got good speed. Like to see that speed out on the base path. He's got 7 stolen bases in 10 attempts. The 0-1 pitch, swung on, lined out into center field. Lemon starts back and comes in now, has the glasses down, and makes the catch for the first out. Hit the ball good, but it died up there. 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Lyman Bostock, the batter, he was on the bunt single and scored last inning on Larry Hisel's double. There's a swing and a foul out of play. Lyman 1 for 3 on the afternoon, batting .328 at game time with 4 home runs and 35 RBIs. Bart Johnson into his lineup to pitch down low a ball. It's 1-1. Lyman now with 55 runs scored. Carew leads the Twins in that department. He scored 61 runs on the season. Bart Johnson checking his side. Jim Essian waves one off. Split up pitch, swung on, ground ball into center field, base hit, past Orta, going to his right. Bostock makes the big turn, and Lemon hustles the ball back into the second baseman, Jorge Orta, and the Twins have a base runner on at first base. Bostock now 2 for 4 in the afternoon. Roy Smalley, the batter, he's 1 for 3. On deck is Rod Carew. Soderholm plays in. Sox infield, Bannister and Orta double played that. There's the pitch to Smalley. That's in there for a strike. 5-5. Twins took an early lead, 2-0. White Sox came back in the fourth with a grand slam by Jim Spencer, 4-2. Then the Twins took the lead in the fifth, and it's all tied up. Runner going, Bostock on the second base, but Smalley swings and fouls one off on the third base line. Two strikes on Roy Smalley as Lyman Bostock returns to first base with his eyes glued on Carl Keel, the third base coach. Flashing some signals. Well, I've seen Gene Mauch give the hit and run with an 0-2 count. Runner holding, Smalley swings, flips the fly ball out into center field. Lemon on for it, makes the catch, and Bostock will have to hold it first. 2 outs now. Rod Carew, the batter, he walked. Ground out to first and popped up to short. So Rodney 0 for 2. Batting .408 on the season. A slump for him is going 0 for 3. First pitch, thrown. Bill Deegan stepped out of there and almost got hit by Bart Johnson as the ball got past Jim Essian. Evidently, Rod's bat must have hit the catcher's glove, and that's about the only time that an umpire will move out from behind home plate. Here's the stretch by Johnson. There goes Bostock. The pitch swung on. Long fly ball to right field is cooking. Wow, that ball just about up on top of the roof. Hit the top part, was about 3 feet foul. Rodney just standing at home plate, watching that ball intently. He really gave it a ride. Boy, he hit it hard. Hit the top part of the roof and bounced back onto the field. A long strike. Bostock was on his way. Here's the stretch by Johnson. A pitch out. He wasn't going. It's 1-1. 5-5 between the White Sox and the Twins. Just one of those kind of battles. Hope these teams can hit. There's a fastball outside. It's 2-1. Twins with 7 hits in the ball game so far. The White Sox with 5. White Sox batters have walked 4 Twins. The pitchers have walked 4 Twins. The Twins have issued 4 walks. A little toss over to first base. Bostock kind of fell down and reached over and grabbed first base. Here's the stretch by Johnson. Another throw to first. This time a quick tag by Spencer, but not in time. Carew ready in the batter's box. Johnson fires over to first, but to the home plate side of first. Spencer doesn't bother tagging Bostock. Time Johnson steps off. Bostock 7 stolen bases, 11 attempts. Slider from the outside corner for a strike. It's 2-2. Here's the stretch by Johnson. Bostock going. The pitch fouled off by Carew back to the screen, so Bostock will have to return to first. Lyman running past second base. Good idea, too, when you're running like that, not to stop yourself. You get to this point in the season, and a lot of times you stop yourself from running, you might have a little bit of fatigue, and that's when you pull muscle. Pitch out. Wasn't going. It's 3-2. Well, he's going now. There's 2 outs and a full count. Spencer holding with Bostock on at first. Here's the stretch by Bart Johnson. The pitch down low, he walked him. Carew gets his second pass. He's been on twice via the walk. Once by Kucek, the other by Bart Johnson. And here's Butch Wynegar. Wynegar's walked twice, scored. Popped up to short his other time at bat. 4 home runs and 31 RBIs. First pitch to Wynegar. A slider is in there at the knees for a strike. Well, Herb mentioned Johnson being plagued by injuries over his career, in and out of there. Called up early. Chicago White Sox. There's a fastball that caught the outside corner. It's strike 2 on Wynegar. Pitched a couple of years at Appleton. Part of a year at Appleton in 69. Broke in 68. Got into 4 games with the White Sox his second year. There's a swing and a foul coming back towards our booth. Still 2 strikes on Butch Wynegar. Runners at first and second. The pitch to Wynegar way outside. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Lyman Bostock on at second. Rod Carew on at first. A doubleheader between the Twins and the White Sox tomorrow afternoon starting at 12:30. The White Sox currently 2 percentage points in front of the Twins. There's a swing and a pop-up on the left side. Soderholm coming in, Essian going out, foul territory. They collide, and it's Essian that makes the catch in fair territory. Right in front of Eric Soderholm, not getting any help at all for Bart Johnson. Very aggressive, but they almost collided and got hurt. Well, that's it for the Twins. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left, no errors by the White Sox, and after 5.5 innings of play, it's the Twins 5, the White Sox 5.
Lee Weller of the Plains, Virginia, raced his Pro dragster to a speed of 224.443 miles an hour with an elapsed time of 6.06 seconds for the quarter mile Friday night to lead his division in the Summer Nationals of Drag Racing at the Great Lakes Dragway at Union Grove, Wisconsin. Qualifying continues Saturday for the finals on Sunday. Nothing else to report in baseball. Scores are the same. But Toronto leading Texas 6-3 after 6. After 5.5, Detroit ahead of New York by a score of 4-1. The update on the Yankee game. Yankees have scored twice in the 7th. So now after 7.5, it's Detroit 4 and the Yankees 4. Nothing more on the Texas game. That's the same as it was. That's still after 6. 6-3 Blue Jays over the Rangers. And some 25 professional skateboarders have gathered in Akron, Ohio for Saturday's World Outdoor Skateboard Championship. Total prize of $10,000.
The American League today, the Yankees came up with 2 in the 7th to tie the Tigers 4-4 going into the 8th of New York. Now Johnny Hiller in there for Detroit and Sparky Lyle for New York. Bob is homer for the Tigers. Chambliss for New York. Toronto leading Texas 6-3 as they go into the 8th inning at Toronto. Doug Rader hit his 9th homer for Toronto. It's a 3-run shot for Rader in that game. Everything else tonight. Well, here's the latest score from New York, and Fred Stanley has just homered for the Yankees. First of the year with 1 on. That should give him a 6-4 lead over the Tigers in the 8th inning.
And here's Chet Lemon for the White Sox in the bottom of the 6th. He's walked twice and scored a run. Tommy Johnson now pitching for the Twins. He's the third Twins pitcher. Fires a slider in there for strike 1. The Twins 5 runs on 7 hits. The White Sox 5 runs on 5 hits. A big grand slam home run by Jim Spencer in the 4th inning. There's a swing and a line drive to left center. Bostock going over for it. Can't get it. It's going all the way to the fence. Hisle chasing it down. Lemon around second on his way to third. Smalley gets the relay, fires it into home. Carew cuts it off. Lemon has the leadoff triple into left center field. Bostock bent over on his feet, but bent over. He may have knocked the wind out of himself as Lemon collects his second triple of the year. A solid shot into left center field. Got by Bostock, so Lemon. Now 1 for 1 for Lemon. Here's Jim Spencer. Spencer ground out into a 3-6-3 double play in the 2nd, but bombed his 2nd grand slam of the year into the right field stands in the 4th. Now the Twins are going to pull the infield about halfway in with nobody out. Bostock shaken up on the play, but he's going to stay in there. Aegis was outstretched, made a last-ditch attempt to get up to that ball, but that ball is really sailing about 395 feet away from home. Played on the roll, bounced off, and went over towards the full 45 mark. Johnson will pitch out of a stretch. Lemon with fine speed on a third. Here's the pitch. Down low and inside to Spencer. Ball 1. The Twins 5. The White Sox 5, and the White Sox are threatening with nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Bobby Knopf right next to Chet Lemon at third. In that third base coaching box, Minnie Minoso over in the first base box. Johnson has his big sign from Butch Wynegar. Here's the pitch. Swung on, popped up on the left side. Smalley going into short left. Back to the infield. The ball's going to drop. Base hit. Here comes Lemon. The White Sox lead the Twins 6-5 as Spencer collects his 5th RBI of the game and 34th overall. Into center field by Jim Spencer. Puts the White Sox ahead again. 6-5, their 7th base hit. Here's Eric Soderholm. Runner at first base with nobody out. Gene Moss wants to talk to his pitcher. He comes out of the dugout. Calls Rod Carew over. Butch Wynegar going to make an appearance on the mound. Check. They've got Ralph Garr in behind Eric Soderholm. And Moss just wants to get it straight in their head what they might have to do should Soderholm get the bunt signal. It's a setup where you kind of go over every little thing that could conceivably come up. Might talk to him about the hit and run also. Spencer doesn't have fast speed, although he hasn't stolen a base in the year, nor has he been caught. Bob Lemon, manager of the Chicago White Sox, has done a fine job this year. Throw over to first base, and Spencer gets back. Nobody out. The White Sox have scored in each of the last 3 innings. Here's the stretch. Soderholm around the bunt. Drops one down the first base side. Fielded by Carew. He tags Soderholm, and Spencer goes on to second base. Perfect sacrifice bunt for Eric Soderholm. Carew unassisted on the play. Spencer goes to second base, and the batter is Ralph Garr. Ralph Garr flied out to center field in the 3rd. He singled to right field in the 5th inning to start the inning, but was out on an attempted steal. Wynegar to Wilfong. Twins put the infield back. Here's the stretch by Tommy Johnson. The pitch swung on, fly ball left field. Hisle is right there, makes the catch, and Spencer has to go back to second. Hit the ball pretty well, but right at Larry Hisle and left. So the 2 out. Runner at second base, and the batter will be the catcher, Jim Essian. Essian ground out to short and lined out to the second base. It wasn't really a hard line drive, but kind of hit it in towards the trademark. Wilfong was able to easily make the play. Twins outfield around to the left on Essian. 4 deep and right. Here's the stretch by TJ. The pitch is in there for a strike, 0-1. The Twins beginning to get used to playing in front of some crowds, sir. A noisy crowd. Who said it? Slider in the dirt, blocked by Wynegar out in front of home plate. Essian had a notion to pick that ball up. Saw that a little earlier in the year, too. Larry Milburn in Seattle. Yeah. Ruled out for interference, and Wynegar threw down to second, trying to pick the runner off this. Well, that might have been a very important play. It was a game the Twins won by 1 run. Sure was. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Essian. Line drive to left field. That ball is deep. It's going foul. Oh, he started out. That ball looked like it was going to be a fair ball, and then hooked at the end. And wow, there isn't much room between the stands and the foul line. Down the left or right field line, it comes together pretty much to stand about 3 feet away from the foul pole. That ball just hooked in right at the end. 352 feet down each foul line to the fence. 375 in the power alleys, and straight away center field right under the speakers, 445 feet. Butch Wynegar wants to talk to Tommy Johnson. He's out on the mound. Johnson's picked up high in the strike zone. I'll tell you, the way these White Sox have been batting the ball around the park, you don't want to get it up in the strike zone because it's been extra bases every time they swing the bat. Ball 1, strike 2 to Jim Essian. Runner at second base, Jim Spencer with a swing and a line drive again. That's going to hook foul. Had some distance, but it was in on him, and he Tommy hawked it foul down the third baseline. Chet Lemon with a leadoff triple to left center field. Driven in on a bloop single to center field by Jim Spencer, his 5th RBI of the game. The slider missed outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jimmy Essian. Ralph Garr with a line drive to left field after the sacrifice by Soderholm, sending Spencer to second. Breaking pitch missed outside at 3-2. Alan Bannister on deck. Studying the sign intently, Butch Wynegar. Goes into his search and steps off. Essian, 25 years old, from Detroit, Michigan. 6'1", 187 pounds. Here's the pitch up high, he walked it. The first walk given up by Tommy Johnson. Coming in relief of Tommy Bergmeyer last inning. Pitched an inning and has given up a run. Here's Alan Bannister. Slide out to left. Walked and scored in the 4th. Doubled and scored in the 5th. 2 men on here in the bottom of the 6th inning. The White Sox are leading the Minnesota Twins 6-5. Each team with 7 hits. Up here at Comiskey Park, big crowd. There's the stretch, the pitch, fouled off, back to the plate on the ground, 1 strike. Jim Spencer on at second, Jim Essian on at first base, Bannister with a strike 1 count on. 2 men are out. Twins have the infield back at regular depth. There's a slider that misses outside, it's 1-1. Next, the White Sox have Jorge Orta. The sun is out again here at Comiskey Park. It's been in and out of the clouds all day. Johnson stretch the pitch way outside, backhanded by Wynegar. He takes the throw down the first base, but Essian wasn't that far off. It's been a wild ball game. Just about what you'd expect from these 2 ball clubs. The way they swing the bat, they're a bunch of free swingers. The 2-1 pitch now. Hit out to center field by Bannister. Bostock over to his left on the run, makes the catch, and that's it for the White Sox. Hit the ball pretty good, but Bostock, playing a fairly shallow center field, was able to go over and make the catch in short right center. So for the White Sox in their half of the inning, 1 run on 2 hits. 2 men left. No errors by the Twins after 6 complete innings of play. It's the White Sox 6, the Twins 5.
The Yankees have moved into a tie for first place with the Red Sox in the American League East. They won today against Detroit, coming back to win the contest. Reserve shortstop Fred Stanley's 2-run 8th-inning homer gave the Yankees a 6-4 victory over the Tigers. Craig Nettles singled with 1 down, and after Paul Blair's sacrifice, Stanley hit his first homer of the season and 5th lifetime, giving the loss to John Hiller, now 4-9. Keith Fergus, a 23-year-old tour rookie, shot a 5-under par 67 Saturday to take the early lead in the 2nd round of the Greater Milwaukee Open Golf Tournament. Fergus had managed a 69 Friday, despite a stiff wind that kept scores unusually high on the 7,010-yard Tuckaway Country Club course. But half the field in the clubhouse, his 136 total, gave him a 3-shot lead over Gary McCord, Frank Beard, Mike Morley, and Barney Thompson. Fergus, Morley, McCord, and Fuzzy Zola had shared the first round lead as of Saturday morning.
It's the top of the seventh. The Twins coming to bat. They'll have Larry Hisle, Glenn Adams, and Danny Ford scheduled to bat against Bart Johnson, and this has been a seesaw battle. The White Sox leading 6-5. It's all tied up in hits, though, 7-7, but the White Sox leading in the important column. And for more play-by-play, here's Herb Carneal.
There's a bunt by Hisle. Too hard, though. Back to Johnson. He throws him out. Hisle doubled in 2 runs in the fifth inning, his 72nd and 73rd of the year to take the major league lead in RBIs again. Now he's out pitched to the first on the bunt, and here's Glenn Adams. Glenn with a couple of singles today and an intentional walk. And the Yankees, with that home run by Fred Stanley in the 8th inning, beat the Tigers 6-4 in New York today. As Adams looks at a strike. Tigers had a 4-1 lead at one time as late as the 6th inning. There's a fastball low, and it's 1-1 now to Adams. Yankees 6, the Tigers 4. Lyle picked up the win, Hiller the loss. Adams, it's a fly ball out into deep left center field. Moving over is Lemon, the center fielder. He's there. He's got it. Still out of nobody on, and Danny Ford coming up. Dan today's been hit by a pitch. Called on strikes at a sacrifice fly in the fifth inning. 6-5. The White Sox leading here in the seventh inning. Game number 2 of the 4-game series. Doubleheader tomorrow. We'll be with you tomorrow at 12:25 Central Daylight Time for the Twin Bills. Danny Ford stepping in against Bart Johnson, who came on with 1 out in the fifth inning in relief of Jack Kucek. And Johnson has held the Twins scoreless. Big 6'5" right-hander swings into the windup. Here's the pitch. Fastball fouled straight back. 1 strike to Ford. Johnson getting another baseball from plate umpire Deegan. It's been a kind of a seesaw game today. The Twins led 2-0 until the grand slam by Spencer in the 4th. Twins went ahead 5-4 with 3 in the top of the 5th. Then the White Sox tied it in their half and scored the tie-breaking run in the 6th. 6-5, the White Sox leading. 2 out in the top of the 7th inning as Johnson swings into his windup. Here's the pitch. Low outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chicago playing straight away for Danny Ford. Slatter outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Soderholm, the third baseman, playing deep. He's close to the line. Everybody back in the infield. There's the pitch. Strike at Slatter on the low outside corner. Ford didn't like the call. Now he has a 2-2 count. Beautiful afternoon here in Chicago. Lots of sunshine. Temperature in the mid-80s. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count as Johnson winds. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball foul to stay alive. Still 2-2. One time, Bart Johnson figured his pitching days might be over. And he went back to try to play the outfield. Then his arm started to come around again and took up pitching. Here's the pitch now to Ford. Swung on, fly ball hit out to right field. Zisk is there. He has it. And the Twins go 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. After 6 1/2, the White Sox 6, the Twins 5. The White Sox leading the Twins 6-5, and before Chicago bats in the 7th, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is where you hear.
This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.
Zisk and Lamar Johnson. Lou Latson, our producer today. Ralph Gilman, our engineer. With tranquility, this is Herb Carneal. The Chicago White Sox in first place in the West by 2 percentage points over the Twins. 7th game of the year between the 2 clubs. They've split the first 6. And now Jorge Orta leading off the 7th for Chicago in this 6-5 game. Chicago in the lead. Orta has grounded a short. He's walked, singled, and a run. Left-hander batting second baseman. The outfield shades him to the right. Here's the windup by Tommy Johnson. The pitch. Sinker, low and outside. Ball 1. Tommy Johnson, the third pitcher in the game today for the Twins, delivers to Orta. And it's a slider inside for ball 2. 2-0 to Orta. From Mazatlan, Mexico, George is 26 years old. There's the pitch by Tommy Johnson. Strike call. 2-1 now. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the motion by Tommy Johnson, the pitch. Swing a bouncing ball out behind second. Smalley gloves it. Here's the peg to first. Got him. Good play by Smalley. Actually was well to the right of second base when he made that throw to first. 6-3 on the put out. Here's Zisk. And called on strike. Slide to right, single to left. 1 for 3. Home runs for the big right-handed batting Richie Zisk. Takes a slider low, and it's ball 1. Boston's George Scott leading the American League with 21. Zisk second with 19 home runs. Larry Hisle of the Twins has 18. There's a swing and a base hit to center field. Zisk slams one up the middle for a single, and here comes Lamar Johnson, the DH. Slices by to center and struck out. So the White Sox put a man on. Zisk at first base, 1 out. Chicago leading 6-5 in the last of the 7th inning. Right-hander batting Lamar Johnson against Tommy Johnson. Well, there's still another Johnson. Right now, Dave Johnson for the Twins in the bullpen. There's a swing fly ball to center field. Carrying deep. Bostock has it measured, though. He's back there. Makes the catch right at the edge of the warning track. Long fly to center by Lamar Johnson for the second out. Zisk holding first. It'll bring up the center fielder, right-hander batting Chet Lemon. He's flied to center field 3 times today and struck out. Check that. He's walked twice and tripled to center. I was looking at the log on Johnson. Lamar Johnson just going out for the 3rd time to center. Now Lemon officially 1 for 1 with a triple to left center in the 6th inning. Home runs in the National League. The Phillies, Mike Schmidt, and the Reds, George Forster with 21. There's a slider strike to Lemon. 0-1. Dodgers Steve Garvey also has 21 home runs. A 3-way tie over there for the lead in homers. Foster, Schmidt, and Garvey. Here's a bounding ball down third base by the Cubbage. He boots it. No play. There for Mike Cubbage. Couldn't find a handle on that bouncing ball off the bat of Lemon, and here comes Jim Spencer, who has 5 RBIs today, a grand slam homer.
Cubby was going to take that ball on a big hop and just shoot it on him. Big charge that he backed up on a little bit, and when it did, it kind of hit off the fingers of his glove. Got to give him an error on it.
Spencer hit into a 3-6-3 double play in the second, then hit a grand slam homer off lefty Bill Butler on a 2-2 pitch in the 4th inning after Butler had walked 3 batters. There were 2 out at the time when Spencer hit his homer. Then he dumped a single at center in the 6th inning to drive in his 5th run of the day. 34 RBIs on the year for him, and he takes a strike. He was on the 15-day disabled last month with a broken big toe. Hit a foul ball off his own bat, batting against the Rangers' Gaylord Terry. Runners on first and second. Now 2 out. The White Sox ahead 6-5 in the 7th. A bouncing ball down to Carew. He takes it, flips the ball to Johnson in time. 3-1 the play, and that's all for Spencer and the White Sox. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 2 left. At the end of 7, Chicago 6, the Twins 5.
Game is over at Toronto. Doug Rader's 3-run homer in the 5th inning sparked the Toronto Blue Jays to a 10-7 win over the Texas Rangers. With the score tied 3-3, Rader slammed his 9th home run of the year over the center field fence, driving home Ron Fairley, who had walked, and Sam Ewing, who had single. Texas scored in the first when shortstop Bert Campaneris came home on a wild pickoff attempt by Jays winner Pete Vukovic, who went all the way to register his fourth victory in third complete game against 6 setbacks. The Jays went ahead in the third when Fairley's double scored Alan Ashby, and Ewing's single drove home Fairley and Bob Baylor. The Jays added 4 more runs in the 8th with Baylor and Otto Velez driving in 2 runs each. Texas Bump Wills hit his 4th home run of the year in the 8th inning with a man on base. The final again from Toronto, Canada. The Blue Jays defeat the Texas Rangers 10-7. Earlier, Yankees won over Detroit 6-4.
Now we're going into the top of the 8th inning. The Twins trail by a run. Bart Johnson in relief of Jack Kucek, who went 4 in the 3rd inning. Johnson's done a good job since coming in relief. He just issued an intentional bad, walked another batter, and only given up 1 hit in 2 2/3 innings. In the 8th inning for the Twins, it'll be Mike Cubbage, Rob Wilfong, and Lyman Bostock scheduled to bat. Twins have used 3 pitchers, Billy Butler, Tom Bergmeyer, and Tom Johnson. Butler left after giving up just 1 hit, but it was a grand slam home run to Jim Spencer in the 4th after walking 3 batters.
Pitch inside to Mike Cubbage for a ball. Cubby is single. He struck out twice, swinging once a call once. He looked at a strike from Johnson. Johnson got him with a breaking ball in the 5th inning, first time he faced the White Sox right-hander. Change up, line to left, the base hit. Mike Cubbage drills it to left field for a single to put the tying run on here in the 8th inning. Just the second hit that Johnson has given up since he took over. He's been in there 2 2/3. Gene Mock coming out now, and he's having a discussion with the plate umpire, Bill Deegan. Rob Wilfong is due to be the Twins' batter. Rob has hit into a force, bounced to first, fly to center. Got an RBI when he grounded into a force out in the 2nd inning. Ford scored on the play. Mock is pointing at something out towards the left center field stands that might be interfering with some of the Twins' batters.
Well, we've got some fans sitting out there at center field in the bleachers. A few more mulling around there, and he just wants to know about the sight line. They're a big right-handed pitcher. Bill Deegan going over to the White Sox bench right now. Bob Lemon coming out. They're going to talk about it. Lemon coming out to meet him. I don't know if Gene has protested anything or if he just is asking for them to clear it out in center field. Normally, nobody sits out there. They're discussing it out now. Trying to get a kick out of the way Lem walks out. He's kind of light-footed. Nothing really ever seems to bother him too much. Very seldom see him make an appearance other than when he's going to do a job on somebody.
Rob Wilfong at the plate now. They're looking for a bunt, and he does bunt the ball up in the air behind the plate, but it's too far back for Essian to get to it. 1 strike to Wilfong with Bostock on deck.
There's that case where Wilfong has a couple infielders bearing down on him. Try to make it a little too fine, end up popping it back.
White Sox now get their big man in the bullpen in the late innings. He's been their big man, Larry LeGros already. Here's the stretch by Bart Johnson, the pitch. High fastball. 1-1 to Wilfong. 6-5 ball game here at Comiskey Park with Chicago leading in the top of the 8th inning. Again, first place in the West, it's State. As Spencer now at first holding with Mike Cubbage. Soderholm well up on the grass at third. Bannister and Orta about halfway up. Here's the pitch. Slider is poked out into right field. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. Played on a bounce by Zisk. Down to second goes Cubbage. So Wilfong singles to right, sending Cubbage over to second. Nobody out. And Lyman Bostock coming up. Boss is grounded to second, hit to the pitcher, got a bunt single, and against Bart Johnson in the sixth, single to center. Bart Johnson goes over to say something to Soderholm. With Bostock up, the Twins have Smalley on deck, and then Rod Carew. Now Johnson takes the sign. Here's the pitch on the way. Bostock looks at a fastball away. Ball one. Well, the only left-hander the White Sox have been using in their bullpen has been Dave Hamilton. He's not working right now. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Oh, he spun all the way around. 1-1 strike. 6-5. Chicago leading in the eighth inning. There's nobody out. The Twins have Cubbage on second. Wilfong on first. The pitch to Bostock. Now he's around the bunt. He taps the ball back to Johnson. He throws the ball to Orta, covering first for the out. 1-4 on the sacrifice. Cubbage to third and Wilfong to second. So now the runners at second and third is one out, and Roy Smalley batting left-handed, coming up here against Bart Johnson. Roy today has hit to the pitcher, struck out, single to center. And against Bart Johnson, he flied to center in the sixth inning. 6-5 lead for the White Sox. They're going to play the infield up about a third of the way. Swing and a miss by Roy at a fastball at a big cut. 1 strike to count. Soderholm about even of the bag at third. Everybody else playing up about a third of the way on the skin part of the infield. Outfield slightly into right. Johnson working out of a stretch, delivers. Fastball through there, strikes 2 call. Nothing in 2. No ball, 2-strike count to Smalley. Johnson's pitch. Swing and a miss. He's struck him out. Johnson went to his fastball, and he struck out Roy Smalley for the second out, and now Rod Carew. I'd be very surprised if he got anything to hit here, wouldn't you?
Oh, they're going to walk away. No walking.
Potential walk to Carew.
I was just going to say, Herb, that the White Sox pitchers have really gotten some big strikeouts in the last couple of ball games with the Twins runners on base, and they just tore it down and went to pure basics. And after that hummer, and reached back in the basket and got a little extra on it.
10 runners left on last night. The Twins have left 8 on today, and now have the bases loaded as Carew gets the intentional walk. Probably going to see more and more of this. This is the third walk-this game for Carew. That's why it's really kind of tough to keep a hot hitting streak when you're going like Rod Carew, because they start walking and you don't get a chance to swing the bat very much.
Right. Unless you've got that guy that is hot in behind you. They can't afford, but even so, with Carew's great batting average, it's still walking.
Here's Wynegar looking at a slider inside. Ball 1. Butch has popped to short. He's walked twice and popped to the catcher. Carew officially today is 0 for 2. High fastball to Butch. Ball 2 and no strike. 6-5, Chicago leading in the 8th inning. The Twins with the bases loaded. 2 out. 2-0 now to Wynegar. Carew now has walked 37 times. Smalley's walked 39. Here's a slider strike to Wynegar, 2-1. Johnson decides he wants another baseball, even though he got a slider over for a strike on the last pitch to Wynegar. Mike Cubbage on third, Rob Wilfong on second, and Rod Carew on first with 2 out. Infield back, outfield towards right. The pitch. Butch takes it high. A ball. It's 3-1 now to Wynegar. Johnson says he doesn't like that ball either. 3-1 now to Butch Wynegar. Base on balls, of course, would tie the game up. Twins have had a half dozen walks to hit batsmen today. Here's the 3-1 delivery. Swung on. A base hit up the middle for Butch. Here's Cubbage rounding third, coming home. Wilfong on the third base goes Carew, and the Twins take the lead, 7-6 on a 2-run single to center by Butch Wynegar, giving him 33 RBIs for the year. A 2-run single, scoring. Cubbage and Wilfong chasing Carew over to third, and manager Bob Lemon comes out of the dugout in a hurry. So this seesaw game now tilts in the favor of the Twins, 7-6 here in the top of the eighth. That's going to be off for Bart Johnson. They're going to call in Larry LeGros. So Johnson gave up 4 hits while he was in there, 3 in the third inning. Walked 3, 2 of those were intentional, struck out a couple. Larry LeGros, a big fly-baller, he's been their big man out of the bullpen, coming on now, but the Twins have taken the lead 7-6 here in the 8th inning.
Herb, is this wild or what, this ball game, is it?
Oh, man, yeah.
Base hits all over.
Don't look the other way. He's going to miss a couple of runs.
I tell you, there's a few people that have to be a little antsy in their seats because they may have wanted to leave for a few minutes, but I don't think they dared. And then 7-6, the Twins have regained it. On 10 hits, the White Sox with 8 hits. LeGros is making his 33rd appearance of the year. He's pitched 51 in the third inning. Only given up 39 hits, 11 runs. Been stingy with those. 14 walks. 33 strikeouts. He's wild pitched 4 times. His record on the year, 3 wins, a loss, 12 saves, and a sparkling 1.75 earned run average. He's a big guy. LeGros, of course, coming from the Detroit Tigers. Live arm. Good sinker, good slider. Doesn't change up that often. Basically, he's a strikeout power type pitcher. Been a little bit wild through his career, but basically, I think coming into his own, and Bob Lemon, knowing that the Sox had given up Rich Gossage and Terry Forster over to Pittsburgh to get Richie Zisk. Needed that one big ace in the bullpen, and so they picked on Larry LeGros to be that guy, and he's really responded well. The Twins now with 2 men out. Runners at first and third. Larry Hisle, the batter, and Big Hisle already has a couple RBIs in the ball game. Urban fans, 5 different Twins today with RBIs.
Wynegar and Hisle with 2 apiece. Hisle coming on a double down the left field line in the 5th inning. He has 73 RBIs for the year. LeGros out of the stretch now. The pitch. Fastball foul back. 1 strike to Larry Hisle. Ford, Cubbage, and Wilfong have the other RBIs today. Twins have had 10 hits, 6 walks, and a hit batsman today. Wynegar leading at first. Carew at third. 2 out. LeGros pitch to Hisle. Swing, and a high pop down the right field line, drifting over towards the stand. Spencer over there can't get it. 2 strikes now to Hisle.
Boy, either of those swings, I'd have loved to seen him make contact because he was just about right on them, and they'd have ended up 500 feet away.
Now LeGros ahead of Larry, no balls and 2 strikes. Spencer holding with Wynegar at first base. Here's LeGros' pitch. Check swing and a foul. Still 0-2. Twins have scored 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 5th, and 2 here in the 8th inning. Here's the stretch by Larry LeGros. The right-hander's pitch. Hisle takes a strike on the outside corner. It's flatter. Just got the outside edge, and he's called out on strike. 2 runs off of the Twins on 3 hits. No errors and 2 left. The Twins have left 10 runners on again today. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Twins 7, the White Sox 6.
Here's more from Wimbledon. Helen Gourlay-Cawley of Australia and Joanne Russell, the U.S., have taken the Wimbledon women's doubles title. The unseeded pair upset Betty Stova of the Netherlands and Martina Navratilova. The exiles checked for the title. The score was 6-3 and 6-3. Again, repeating, the U.S. men and Soviet women dominated the early events at the wind-up of the 15th annual Soviet-U.S. track meet. The U.S. finally beaten by the combination men's-women's team of the Soviet Union. And Al Unser recorded the best time around the twisting 2.46-mile Mosport road course Friday at Mosport, Ontario, in practice for Sunday's 8th race in the U.S. Automobile Club Championship. Unser, one of the few USAC drivers who has brought experience on road courses as well as ovals, recorded a lap time of 116.91 for an average speed of 115.101 miles per hour in his Ford Cosworth-powered Pernelli.
Well, we've got one of those exciting finishes again between the Twins and the White Sox here at Comiskey Park. The Twins have regained the lead, 7-6. They started it all off in the second inning with 2 runs, and Jimmy Spencer's grand slammer in the bottom of the fourth put the White Sox ahead. The Twins came right back with 3 in the top of the fifth to go ahead, 5-4. White Sox tied it up in the bottom half of the fifth, went ahead in the bottom of the sixth. The Twins with 2 in the top of the eighth on Butch Wynegar single to center field. Put them ahead now 7-6. Here's Eric Soderholm. He's batting 7th in the White Sox lineup today. He'll be followed by Ralph Garr and then Jim Essian against the third Twins pitcher of the afternoon, Tommy Johnson.
Soderholm's been called out on strike, foul. The third had a sacrifice. Swing and a miss. 1 strike, a pitch in on him. Tommy Johnson, who came on in the fifth inning, he struck out Lamar Johnson for the third out that inning. Slider just missed outside. It's 1-1. 1 ball to 1 strike. Soderholm with 7 home runs for the White Sox this year. Here's the pitch. Swung on a fly ball. Hit out to deep left center field. Hisle moving over there. Bostock back, and Bostock on the warning track in deep left center field. About 380 feet out, made the catch. Soderholm gave it a ride, but Bostock caught it, went away. And it'll bring up the road runner, Ralph Garr. He's 1 for 3, a single in the fifth inning.
Herb, I'm just sitting here thinking about all those folks back home in their backyards and out on the lakes and sitting in the boats listening to the broadcast. How nice it would be to give them a nice sweet victory here today and let them continue fishing.
Always makes the day a little nicer when you win.
Sure does.
Especially when you're battling for first place. Garr hits one down the first base line. Carew stabs it back on the grass, puts the ball to Johnson, and didn't get the bag, but the first base umpire, Kucek, called him safe. Ball was a little low as Johnson reached down for it. Charge Johnson with an error. Tommy Johnson will get an error. And it'll bring up Jim Essian, the catcher. Twins charged with their second error of the game. So now the White Sox have their tying run on. Essian has gone to the short, hit a soft line to the second and walked. Here's a line shot. Off the glove and slowly into left field. Now the second goes Garr. He'll pull up there. Drive by Essian off the skin part of the infield, and it hit it off Roy Smalley into shallow left center. A base hit for Essian. Getting Garr to second, and now they have the tying run at second. Go ahead, run at first. And before Bannister bats, we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is where you hear the Minnesota Twins during the 1977 Major League season. Outside in the dirt, a good stop by Wynegar to prevent a wild pitch. Ball 1 to Bannister. He flied to left, walked, double to right, fly to center. 1 for 3, and he scored 2 runs today. He's the leadoff batter. Here comes Gene Lockout. Twins have Dave Johnson, the right-hander, Jeff Holley, the left-hander in the bullpen. Boy, what a battle this has been. 7-6, the Twins leading. Last of the 8th, Chicago, with 2 men on and 1 out.
Boy, Gene just wants to settle down his battery here and get Tommy Johnson. Tommy probably a little frustrated after that call over at first base. Went back, tried to get his composure and think about it a little bit. Gene very wisely moving out there after that last pitch in the dirt and just said, hey, Tommy, first and second, you're thinking double play all the way, and you and Butch work together on this thing. And let's get this guy to hit the ball on the ground. Get you the double play.
Bannister, right-handed batter. Twins playing for the double play. The outfield straight away. Here's the pitch on the way. Slider strikes on that outside corner. 1-1 now to Bannister with Orta on deck. One man out. Ralph Garr leading at second. Essian on first base for Chicago. Here's the stretch by Tommy Johnson, the pitch. Bannister fouls it off to the right out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Johnson ahead on the count now as he takes the sign from Butch Wynegar. Into the stretch he goes. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Way outside and a nice backhanded stop by Wynegar that time. Digging that ball out. It's a couple of wild pitches Wynegar saved for this batter, Bannister up there.
Butch arm must have got lengthened out about 2 more inches on that one.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Now the stretch. Here's the pitch. Bannister takes the slider outside. A full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second, 1 out. Garr, speedy runner at second. Essian on at first base. 1 out. Last of the 8th, the Twins ahead 7-6. Here's the fake throw to second by Johnson. Goes to the Eisenbach. Now the stretch by Tommy. The runner's going. Here's a swing and a fly ball hit into right center field. Moving in is Danny Ford. He's under it. And he lost the ball, dropped it, and the bases are going to be loaded. Danny Ford lost the ball. Bases loaded. To have it, although he was kind of kneeling down as if he didn't see the ball, then picked it up at the last instant, but he couldn't hold it.
That's exactly what happened, Herb. He got over okay, but then it went right into the sun, and it was all over. You could see the sun reflecting in his glasses. Right at the end.
Son of charge forward with an error. Loads the bases. 1 out, and Jorge Orta, the left-handed batting second baseman, is up. Dick Martin went out there to take him another pair of glasses away.
Yeah, I did. I don't know if Danny wears a tinted pair of glasses. He wears spectacles, and normally, I don't know if they get darker in the sun or not, Herb, but he went out and took some regulation type sunglasses at this point.
Well, the Twins leading by a run. Bases loaded. Infield in. Here's the pitch to Orta. Swing and a high foul down the left field line out of play. Orta has grounded to short, walked, single to center, grounded to short, has 1 RBI today, 38 for the year. Garr on third. Essian on second. Bannister is on first base with 1 out. Twins playing the infield up. Here's the pitch. Orta hits it right off the fist, fouls it back. Strike 2 the count. Richie Zisk is on deck. So Tommy Johnson really has a tough road to hoe here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Tommy's been charged with 1 error, Ford with an error, and then a single by Essian off Smalley's glove. Here's the pitch. Orta, line drive, base hit into right field. Garr is going to score. Essian around third. To throw to third base, he's saved down to second base. Goes Orta, 8-7 Chicago. Pitch. Orta hit the inside pitch to right center, a 2-run single, scoring Garr and Essian. Bannister to third when the throw went to third. Orta went to second. A single and 2 RBIs for Orta. Now has 40 for the year, and here's Zisk up. Mighty swing and a miss. Why did he want to unload on that pitch? 1 strike to count. Zisk has been called out on strikes. Fly to right. Single twice. He's 2 for 4. Only 1 out. Infield still up. High fastball. Backed it up, and it's 1-1. Chicago back in the lead. 8-7 here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bannister on third. Orta on second. Johnson winding. Here's the pitch. Swing. The fly ball hit out into left field. It's deep. Hisle back under it. Bannister tagging. He'll score. And the White Sox lead 9-7. Fifth RBI for Zisk. 9-7 Chicago. Here's Lamar Johnson. He's fly to center 3 times, struck out. Orta still at second with 2 out. The pitch, a wild pitch, bouncing in the dirt up to the backstop. Orta goes to third. A wild pitch by Tommy Johnson. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the Twins have given the White Sox at least 2 extra outs in this inning.
You just can't do it with this kind of a ball club the way they hit. Here comes Gene Moss. Well, all looking at it when you look at the start of this situation in the inning, the error over at first base. Of a tough play for Tommy Johnson, the call by the umpire, Bill Kunkel. So he missed first. Tommy charged with an error. An Essian single off the glove of Roy Smalley is short. And a Sun cast in the fly ball to right field. Danny Ford coming in on the ball. Saw it at the start, then lost the ball in the sun, and he was charged with an error out in the right field. Why, then it was especially painful. He had Orta 2 strikes, and then Orta got the big single that put him ahead. And didn't really hit the ball that good.
No.
He had the ball, but the ball was up in the strike zone. That's been some of the problems. Of course, you just can't continually keep the ball up that high. They'll wrap you all over the ballpark. Well, Tommy Johnson coming in the 5th inning. Now pitched 3 innings. Gave up 4 runs. A couple of errors committed behind him. 5 hits. And he struck out a batter and walked 1. Here's Dave Johnson. 14th appearance of the year, 28 innings pitched. 32 hits. He's given up 13 runs. Walked 10 batters, struck out 14, hit a batter, and committed 2 wild pitches. His record on the year, 1 win and 2 losses. Hasn't saved many ball games. He started a game this year at the earned run average 4.18. Also charged to Tom Johnson, a wild pitch, allowing Jorge Orta to go on to third base, which is where he stays right now with 2 men out, 3 runs in here in the bottom of the 8th after the Twins had scored 2 in the top half of the inning to take the lead 7-6. The White Sox coming right back and have scored in 4 of the last 5 innings. On deck will be big Lamar Johnson, the designated hitter. Twins still have Jeff Holley continuing to throw in the bullpen. And it's a 9-7 ball game. The White Sox up by 2 over the Twins in the bottom of the 8th.
Any and all runs now, Chicago would score in this inning would be unearned. Because without those 2 errors, they don't score. Now, a count of 1 ball and no strikes to Lamar Johnson. Dave Johnson working out of a stretch. Here's the pitch. Working on right into the left field. Orta will score. 10-7 Chicago.
again, that ball was up in the strike zone, and Johnson, he just jumped on it. Up around belt high.
Boy, we must have set a record for having Johnsons in the ball game today.
Sure have.
Dave Johnson relieves Tom Johnson. Lamar Johnson singles off Dave Johnson. Bart Johnson's been in there for the White Sox. There's a pitch to Chet Lemon. Rolled the ball. Lemon has walked twice, triple reached on an error. There's the pitch by Dave Johnson. Slider lined in the right field for a base hit. And played on the bounce by Ford. Lamar Johnson going to third. Runners at the corners. Now completed on Tommy Johnson. Tommy charged with 5 runs today, but only 1 was earned. White Sox have batted around this inning. Here's Jim Spencer, who's hit into a 3-6-3 double play. Hit a grand slam homer in the 4th inning with 2 out in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. He hit it off Bill Butler. His 10th homer this year and his 2nd grand slam. Single and a run in the 6th. Grounded to Carew in the 7th inning. Left-handed batting Jim Spencer takes it low from Dave Johnson, ball 1. Lamar Johnson on third, Lemon on first. 2 out and 4 runs across for the White Sox. They lead the Twins 10-7. There's a stretch by Dave Johnson. The pitch on the way. Inside and low. Ball 2 in those strikes. Dave Johnson, the 4th Twins pitcher in the ball game. Lemon on first, Johnson on third. Carew holding with Lemon. Smalley way over towards second in the infield. There's a swing and a high fly ball hit out into deep right field. Danny Ford going back, and that ball is gone into the lower deck in right field. A 3-run homer. 13-7 Chicago. Drive to right center, dropped down in the lower deck. So it's 13-7 Chicago. The pitch is low and outside to Soderholm. He started this inning off by flying to center. Johnson into the windup. Dave pitched to Soderholm, swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. 8 runs batted in for Spencer today, 37 for the year. Swing, fly ball to center field. Bostock is there. And finally, the inning is over. But the White Sox, off with 7 runs on 5 hits, all unearned runs, 2 errors and nobody left at the end of 8. Chicago 13, the Twins 7.
Well, this is one of the wildest ball games of the year between these 2 teams. I didn't think you could top anything from that last Sunday ball game back at the Met when it was 19-12 and the Twins winning it. But I don't know, the lopsided back and forth of this ball game. The White Sox leading the Twins 13-7. We're in the top of the 9th, and Glenn Adams will lead it off for the White Sox, or for the Twins.
High fastball, ball 1. Pitches high, ball 2-0. Glenn today has singled twice, had an intentional walk, fly to center, 2 for 3. Larry LeGros on the mound for Chicago. Into the windup, here's the pitch. Fastball strike. 2-1. Ford on deck, Cubbage to follow. 13 runs, 13 hits for the White Sox, 7 runs, 10 hits for the Twins. There's a foul back for the mezzanine. 2-2. At least 4 times this year we've had a major league batter with 8 RBIs. Spencer twice for the White Sox. Ken Reed for the Cardinals and Adams for the Twins. Fly ball hit into right center field, and that ball is going to be out of the reach of Richie Zisk. Rolls all the way to the wall. Lemon has to play the rebound, and Adams has a double. 2-base hit to right center for Glenn Adams, his 3rd hit of the game.
Midwest Federal and WCCO Radio have purchased the broadcast rights to the Minnesota Twins baseball games for the pleasure and convenience of the listening audience. No broadcast, rebroadcast, or reproduction is permitted without the express authority of the Minnesota Twins, WCCO Radio, or Midwest Federal.
Danny Ford's been hit by a pitch, called out on strikes at a sacrifice fly and fly to right. Officially, he's 0 for 2. There's a slider outside, just ticks the mid-Hessian, goes to the backstop, and Adams moves to 3rd. Wild pitch by LeGros. 1 ball to 4. One ball and no strikes to Ford with Cubbage on deck.
He paid $26,957. 8,314.
Now the stretch by LeGros and the pitch. Ford takes it low and outside. Ball 2.
271.
The paid attendance today is 26,957 with a total in the house 35,271. But the paid 26,957. Here's LeGros pitch to Ford. Strike on the inside corner. He backed out of there, but Deegan called it on him, and it's 2-1. So the first 2 games have drawn 62,000, and they're expecting over 50 for the doubleheader tomorrow. There's the stretch and the pitch on the way. Swing a chop down the 3rd base line. Soderholm charges the ball, throws it to first base, and Ford is out. Adams scores at 13-8 now. 1 out, nobody on. Ford gets his 30th RBI. Soderholm took the safe out. 3rd to first to play.
Pretty good play by Jim Spencer, too, boy. He's a slick fielding first baseman. That ball was carrying into the baseline, and Danny Ford really coming down that line. Spencer got the ball and got out of there quick. Saved himself some kind of contact.
Mike Cubbage, 2 singles. He struck out twice today, swinging once, called once. LeGros pitched to him. Fastball is low, ball 1. 13-8 now. The White Sox leading here in the 9th inning. And the Twins with 1 out and nobody on. There's the windup and the pitch. Cubbage takes a fastball through for his strike. 1-1. Rob Wilfong due up next. Here's the pitch. Swing a pop-up. Out near second base. Alan Bannister on the skin part behind second, makes the catch and a 2 down. Put out for the shortstop. So Rob Wilfong will come up. Rob 1 for 4 with a single to right in the 8th inning. LeGros pitch. Swung on a high fly ball into center field. Lemon getting under it. Lemon waiting. The White Sox win 13-8. In the 9th inning for the Twins, 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, but nobody left on. Final score, Chicago 13, the Twins 8. We'll have a recap in 1 minute.
We'll recap the other 2 games, 2 finals in the American League. Toronto beat Texas 10-7, and the Yankees came back to win over the Detroit Tigers 6-4. And in case you didn't hear, at Wimbledon today, Sweden's Bjorn Borg held off a rally by top seed Jimmy Connors to retain the men's singles title. Borg scored a 3-6, 6-2, 6-1, 5-7, 6-4 victory in a 5-set center court thriller. The 21-year-old Swede who collected $25,500 paycheck took 3 hours and 12 minutes to put away counters. He becomes only the third man since 1938 to win the coveted crown back-to-back. It was the second time in 4 years that Connors had to settle for being runner-up after capturing the title in 1974. But the 24-year-old southpaw from Belleville, Illinois, provided a nail-biting finish for the sweltering 15,000 capacity crowd. He fought back to even the match after trailing love 4 in the deciding set. Now for the wrap-up, let's go back to Comiskey Park.
Well, the Chicago White Sox beating the Twins today 13-8, go 2 up in the series, and they now lead the Twins by 1 game in the American League West. Last night it was Richie Zisk who knocked in all 5 runs with a pair of homers. Today the big gun was Jim Spencer, the first baseman, who knocked in 8 runs, the second 8 RBI game he's had this year. A grand slam homer in the 4th inning, and a 3-run homer in the 8th inning. His 10th and 11th homers, he drove in another run with a single in the 6th inning. A couple of costly errors by the Twins in the 8th inning led to 7 unearned Chicago runs. As they came to that, they were trailing in the ballgame 7-6, but scored 7 unearned runs.
Again, our thanks to Twins broadcasters, the veteran broadcaster Herb Carneal, along with former manager Frank Quillisi, on a ball game from Comiskey Park in Chicago. Final score again, Chicago White Sox 13, the Minnesota Twins 8. Del Burnett speaking on behalf of our engineer Ron Parmeter. This has been a presentation of AFRTS Sports in Washington. This is the American Forces Radio and Television Service.